me monitor this shit on my tablet. Make sure everything running right. All right. I'm trying to watch it on my tablet. Make sure everything running right. Oh, all right, there I go. Put this mouse up. Get the yim. Eat my food. And that light bright as hell. Turn that bitch off. Eat my little food. You know what I'm saying? Get into this little get into this situation. This story crazy though. A 4-year-old son had a dream that he died in a fire. And that's exactly how he passed away. Rest in peace to young boy, man. But let's get into this little story time real quick. It's 2 hours, so y'all might as well buckle in. Go get your motherfucking snacks, favorite drink. You feel me? Might want to go grab your little favorite eater, your wife, girlfriend, whatever. Might as well sit down, buckle in, gang. Yes, sir. Let's ball. Oh, I got 2 keyboards right now.
It's fun going back and kind of just thinking of how D'Anthony was as a kid and the type of kid he was. He was in school, and he was super excited about school. He was, like I said, the 4th oldest, but act as the oldest. He knew how to spell his name at 2 years old, so he was like a real child. He was my first full-term baby. So my children were preemies, and you know, when he came out, he was just beautiful, this bright, beautiful. And I was just like, oh my God, it's snow, right? It was like perfect. Everything about him was just perfect. I remember his father used to play. So his father plays football. And when he played semi-pro football, we would go to games. We'd be in the summertime. So this specific time in 2016, in August, I went to a game with his father. It was he, myself, and his father, because D'Anthony never left us, right? D'Anthony was a mama's boy, a daddy. So we went to one of his daddy's football games, and with me one day, we was just like laughing, talking like we always do. And again, this was August 16, and he was just like out the blue. He was like, "Mommy, guess what?" I was like, "What?" And he was like, "I had a dream last night." And I said, "Last night?" And he was like, "Yeah, I had a dream last night." I said, "What was your dream about?" And he was like, Grandma tried to put it out, and I went with God. And I was like, what? Don't say stuff like that. Like, whatever. Like, nothing's like that happening. Hi, Mommy. And he just continued to, watch the game and just kick his feet. And it was kind of weird. It bothered me, like I was pregnant with my daughter. And I was just like, that's over a 4-year-old to have. And people I thought, man, because when I told this story to people, passed away, like, you just really saying it. I'm serious. Like, it's to me, that specific day, and that was back in 2016 in August. So that time, it just bothered me. Like, we continued to watch the game. We continued to watch his father play, and that sort. And game, we got in the car, and I remember his dad got in the front seat, in the back, and he got in the back seat. And we were driving. We probably was like 5 minutes. So, Anthony, tell your daddy what you told me about the dream. Okay. Then he was like, "Oh, I had a dream." He was like, "Oh, what was your dream about?" And he was like, "That was and I went with God." And so I remember his daddy got quiet, and he was like, "Okay." He was like, "Well, everything gonna be fine, He was like, "Okay, daddy." It was just like, okay. But I don't know. Being a mother, I don't know if it was the mother intuition. I don't know if I was just extra because I was pregnant. Something just didn't never fit right with that. Like, that dream that my baby had, it was just like, it's weird.
I definitely feel definitely I feel like a lot of people, when someone's pregnant, they say, "Oh, I have dreams of fish," or if there's like you have an altercation with somebody, you have a dream about it prior. People be like, "Oh, it's super." I really feel like it's, you know, God like foreshadowing what's about to happen.
Yeah, I feel like we've done story times where, just like her, similar. Every time it's always something that gave it away prior to that they just overlooked. Man, that type of stuff I have me wrapping my kids in bubble wrap. Like, I don't know.
So I remember we stopped at his father's grandmother's house. So his great grandmother's house, and he called her Big Mom. So I remember we stopped by there, and I called her Grandma. And we got there, and same thing, same day. I was like, "Grandma, you have to tell your grandma about the dream you had. Tell your Big Mom about the dream you had." So he told her the same thing. She's like, "What? God is my witness. She's still living today. She can get on here and she can contest to y'all that he told her the exact same dream. Like, told her word, the same dream." And she was like, "Well, same thing." We was just like, "Oh, that's a crazy dream to have." And again, went on about the merry day the rest of our evening, and never thought nothing of it. But as a mother, something just did not sit right to me with that dream. Like, I grew up in a spiritual family, and we took very serious. People don't believe in that, and I don't know what everybody's faith is or whatever, but me personally, I am really connected to, like, when people have dreams, especially after that. But I grew up in a spiritual family where my mother was big on when people had dreams, and my great grandparents on that just did not sit right with me, and I just could not let it go. Never could let it go. I mean, it bothered me for like a month straight, and I think eventually I just got to myself and was like, everything's perfectly fine, everything's fine. So kind of fast forwarding to what happened. So a month goes by, and like I said, I had just started a new job at the beginning of the year, and in April 2016, and that was around the same time I found out about my daughter. And so again, great things is happening. New baby. The year prior, their father and I had got married, and just falling into place for me and my family. So September, now this is the month after D'Anthony's dream. September of 2016, I was approached and offered a position to relocate and be promoted to St. Louis with the job that I had just started with. So I was like, oh, okay, this is perfect. This is going to work great. And not only that, it was time for my lease to be up into my apartment. So I was just like, well, instead of renewing my lease, I can start like either doing a month-to-month lease, to prepare to move, or, we can move in with my mother temporarily for maybe like a month or so, which I was like, I kind of didn't want to do that because, again, I knew the baby was about to be ready to be born. The goal was I wasn't going to relocate because she was not due until January of 2017. So we was like, all right, we're not going to relocate to down there. My job had already said that was fine because I go on maternity leave towards the end of the year because I had complete placenta previa, which you guys can kind of read up on that and figure out what that is. So I had complete placenta previa, and after a certain period of time, you do have to come off of your feet. So 6 months or so, I was getting ready towards that time frame, I was going to get ready to come off my feet and not go back to work for a while until I had my daughter. So everything was just like, okay, it made more sense to either A, my mother, or to month lease. All right, so now we're in September. I signed paperwork. Everything's looking smooth. Everything's looking great. And they were like, okay, well, because you're going to be getting ready to go out in October, what we're going to do is we're going to host a training class in Chicago, where you can be prepared for your move that you're about to, and do 3 weeks of training there. Great. And the same token, my doctor was telling me like, hey, you need to come off your feet pretty soon. You don't need to be doing anything hard or hardcore to be able to handle this pregnancy, because you don't want to lose. This is a condition that's very, very, very serious. So you don't want to use you. Okay, so part 2 of what happened to my son, D'Anthony Frierson. So as I was stating, there was like, okay, listen, when we get to a certain point, you're going to have to come off your feet. So what date are we thinking? Because it would need to be between like 6.5 to 7 months, and like I stated at that point, I'm already going down 5.5. I'm down. So I was like, oh, you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my training. I explained to her what was going on. It was a training in Chicago. She was like, are you going to be on your feet a lot? I'm like, no, I'm not going to be on my feet a lot. She was like, okay. Once you finish that training, and that was in October of 2016. She was like, once you finish that training, got to come off your feet. No more, working, no more, none of that stuff. So I was like, okay. Perfect. I'm going to do that. You have to be very careful because, again, complete placenta previa is a very, if you don't know, and a lot of my ladies do know this, but it is a very dangerous disorder for women to have. It can take the life of you. It can take the life of your child. It can take the life of both of you. So, again, this is something that I was like, I had to make sure that I was being very careful with. So fast forward, I go to the training in Chicago. By then, everything's going great. The last day of training where I was in Chicago, I had a massive, kind of a hemorrhage, bleed out from the condition, and it caused me to have to go to the hospital. So at that point, my doctor was like, nope, that's it. I'm glad that was your last day because you are not going back to work. I am not sending you back to work until you have this baby. And I was just like, okay, that is 100% fair. So I'm in the hospital at this time, and again, apartments getting ready to just kind of go. So I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna be in the hospital till I had this baby, which is gonna be January. So October. So I had November, December, January. So I was gonna be sitting there for about 3 months. So I told my husband at the time, I was like, hey, go ahead and, because you're going to be up here with me, and, you can, and my mom is agreeing to help with the boys and keep the boys, back and forth between your moms and my moms with the boys, or however you wanted to do it, right? So we made the decision, okay, well, she's going to continue to help. We're going to have my mother help when he's up there and then while he was working. So basically, so he had some support and help. All right, so I was in the hospital maybe about 3 months. Sorry, 2.5, 3 weeks and months. 2.5, 3 weeks, and my doctor came to me and she was like, "You're doing real good. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you go home. I'm gonna let you go home, and you need to stay off your feet. Don't just go home and rest. You have to just get up and use the restroom. Get up and use the restroom." And I said, okay, well, I go home. And guess what? The baby shower. Supposed to have a baby shower in November. Now, I went home. This is the beginning of November. Yeah, because it's about 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks I got out the hospital. So beginning of November. Great. I got home, doing real good, but at the same time, I'm online. I'm ordering stuff for the baby shower. The baby shower is going to be my daughter's godmother's senior building, and she had like a community room down there. So I'm like, okay, great. I'm not doing any walking really, other than walk to the car to that, things of that sort. So got all what needed to be ordered. And the baby shower was mid-November, around the summer, November of 2016. So I was like, oh. So come to 12th, I'm getting everything. 13, 14, baby shower days. Yay! Super excited. Again, life is growing great. Everything is happening. New bundle of joy, daughter on the way. We have the baby shower. It hit hard at the baby shower. So we're there. So here's just getting into going kind of sidetracking a little bit. While we were there at the baby shower, everybody's there, family. Father's football coach, who was actually a good friend as well, that owned the semi-pro team, he was very close to D'Anthony. So like every time he's D'Anthony, like at the football games and all that, he'll walk up to him and be like, what's up, man, what's up? And he would always give him like $5 or $10. He's like, what's up, man? They postpone it. So at the baby shower, his football coach was there. Well, the crazy thing about it was he didn't have the energy that he usually had, like when it came to seeing him. So that was kind of weird too. So now it just, something stuck out with that to me too. And it was just like, he like, what's up, man? And I was like, hey. He was like, he came to me, he was like, what's wrong with my man? It's like, he ain't. I said, what you mean, D'Anthony? He was like, yeah. I was like, that ain't like D'Anthony. Like, I was like, he probably just sleepy or something, or maybe he hungry. He was like, yeah, he just didn't really speak to me today, and that's not like him. I'm like, he was fine earlier. I'm not sure what happened. He was like, yeah, he didn't really want to talk to me. I'm like, oh. So I went over there, checked on him. Like, what's wrong, baby? He was like, nothing, mommy. I was like, okay. So he was like, I'm hungry. I'm like, okay. So went over there, and there was some chicken. Now, D'Anthony would eat chicken, but chicken nuggets. He wasn't no big parts of the chicken kid. He was, give me my nuggets kid. So that specific day though, he wanted chicken nuggets. He did not want chicken nuggets. I'm like, because I made sure I had chicken nuggets for the kids. It was a soul food baby shower, but I put stuff for the kids too. So got the bought that chicken. I'm like, again, as a mother, certain things that we know and pay attention to patterns for our children, they stand out. And that was another thing that stood out to me. The first thing was the relationship he had with his father's football coach. And for him not to be as engaged as he usually was with him, that was a little weird. The second thing was the chicken. I know it's crazy, but that was like something Anthony did not do. He did not eat chicken. Not, it wasn't nuggets, he wasn't eating it. So I was like, okay. Never paid. I just kind of eat his food and this. So towards the end of the baby shower, he looked and gave me a kiss and everything, and I was like, "Oh, I love you." He's like, "I love you too, mommy." So we getting ready to pack everything. Not me personally, but everybody's packing everything out in the car and getting ready to go. I had to use the bathroom. All right, go to the bathroom. When I tell you I had a massive bleed out, a massive hemorrhage again, I'm talking about went to the bathroom and it was just like, yeah. And I started screaming. So this is November 14th, 2016. And I'm like screaming. And so their father rushes in, everybody's rushing in, and they was like, oh my God. So they called the ambulance. Ambulance comes and pulls the baby shower. They had to cut us off of me and everything. And so I get to the hospital and my doctor's like, you're not going nowhere now. It's definitely until you had this baby. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you do. That's not happening. Like, we are not letting you go home. It's risking it too much, and you lost way too much blood. And that's not a good thing. And we can't risk it. So she made the decision for me that I had to stay in the hospital 100% until I had my daughter.
Commercial. Oof.
Man, I just want to say this: pregnancy, scary. It's a beautiful thing, and it's time to get to the due date. Man, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but that stuff be it is nerve wracking. I don't know, man. It makes you reconsider. Like, man, I wish I didn't. Like, I wish we didn't. But that probably pushes a lot to have more children is because of deeper complications. You may be healthy the first two pregnancies, but that third one, you start to see more and more complications, especially when you get older. And I think a lot of women can speak to that too. But I just notice it just by, from what I can see, from my own perspective, just being in my kid's life. It's like, man, that's just a scary situation. But yeah, shout out to her though at the end of the day because I don't know if she's even like I can tell trying her hardest to keep it together right now, but this is some heartbreaking stuff. Like everything, it's just getting so emotional, and I can feel the build up to the point. There's like, all right, this happened. And it's like, man, I'm not even ready to hear what happened to him. Honestly, at this point.
Yeah, you hear so often that people say they knew that day it felt off
Mm.
when they have someone passing, and it's like they had that feeling, like the day just seems, and it's a day that you're always going to remember. And it was like, wow, there were so many signs moment, and I just overlooked them. So I know she remembers all this stuff from a detail, and I think we're getting to the point where she's about to tell us what happened. I'm assuming it's happened this day of her baby shower or
So much
sometime
going on.
soon.
It's just crazy. But y'all already know how these story times go as a family. We won't be doing too much interjecting when it comes to these, trauma story times because this is something you just got to listen to at the end of the day. We will interject here and there, but not as much. I just want to let her talk and then get out whatever point she wants to get out, and then we'll just speak as we go. But we do appreciate y'all doing these story times with us. So hold on, y'all. It's a long one.
So now I'm back in this hospital.
Damn, another commercial.
because I'm a person that just doesn't like to down, doesn't like to stay put. So part 3 of story time of what happened to my son D'Anthony Frierson. So coming off of the last video, I got shipped from my baby shower, and my doctor's like, you are not going anywhere. You're here. You're staying here. This is how it's going to be. So me, I'm like, this is hard. So now at the point, their dad is back and forth at the hospital. The kids are coming back and forth to see me. I'm just laying up in the hospital. It's no 14th of 20. So, time has passed. We got everything moved out. Getting ready to, I'm doing stuff online to get a house or apartment in St. Louis. And so we, really just kind of setting ourselves up for our lives, right? For my promotion that's happening. And, Thanksgiving came. Of course, I'm in the hospital. And miserable, pregnant. Not in a bad way, miserable. So don't take that and run with that. But, I'm in the hospital on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the day of thankfulness and food and family. And guess what? All because I'm hard-headed when I should have just laid my butt down. And I'll never forget. A few days later, probably was like days after Thanksgiving, their dad brought him to the hospital. He brought my youngest son to the hospital, and then my oldest son, because my oldest son had a basketball game. He was playing, of course, AAU at the time. So they brought him up to the game. to the hospital, and that was around. No, actually, it was like December 1st or so. Yeah, it was about December 1st, 26. And he brought him to the hospital, and he came in, and he was his vibrant self. He's like, "Hey, mommy." He's super happy. Like I said, he was the mama's boy, so he'd be up under me. And he used to say to me all the time, because when I had my ultrasound of her, the 3D ultrasound, she looked just like him on the ultrasound. So I used to say, "Oh my God, this baby looks just like me." And he used to be like, he was so proud of that. He would go to my other kids and he was like, look, my third oldest son, we call him Puss. His name's Shannon. But it's like, look. He was like, "Don't eat Puss. Puss, look. Baby, my sister look like me. Baby Carrie looked like that."
I'm saying, what y'all trying to call me, a pussy? Like, don't call me that. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to find something to smile about with this, because this is a sad story, man. Yeah, don't call me puss, though. Like, what you calling me puss for? Like, I wouldn't like that day. I wouldn't like that day. You definitely ain't calling me that while I'm grown, though.
I always find it fun to say like the ultrasound looks like this. Like this is exactly how he looking, yeah. And this look at this. He's like, he looks just like me to me. When we say stuff like when you have kids, you get it, but it's how you have to have like an ultra 3D.
I mean, now they're pretty high tech. I don't know how it was back when she.
Yeah.
But now it's pretty 3D though. Nowadays, you can really tell baby's gonna look Back then though, yeah, that
You
shit was.
cannot tell.
Now
Women
you can.
mothers always do
Now
this. Mothers always do this. Don't look just like you. It be in the belly. How you know this baby looks like in the belly? What you trying to say? I feel like that all deformed and everything. Ain't even fully developed, and you saying it look like me. I'm telling you, it be inside jokes. I'm telling you. Try to throw a little sleep.
My baby sister looks like me. My baby sister looks like me. Don't she look like me? And then he, don't my baby? I say, yeah. See, I told us. So, like, he was just excited. This was his first sister. He was so excited to be a big brother to a sister, and you know, he wore that, and no one looked like him. Oh, that was just like his token for that. But anyway, so he came up there and he sat up in the bed with me. And of course, I had my, because he was only one, he had just turned at the time. He turned 1 November 15th. So he's there. And they're up in the bed with me. And Anthony wanted to eat. Again, Anthony liked fruit. But there were certain things that Anthony did not eat. What 4-year-olds, you know, usually eat cantaloupe? You probably got some. But D'Anthony was wearing a cantaloupe out, that melon out. And I'm like, when you start eating this stuff? And he just gave me this. He always used to, just wanted some fruit. Okay. So, you know, the dad was like, well, I'm about to take our oldest son to the game. Then I'm going to take them back to your mom's house. And then, you know, he was just the rundown of what he was going to do. And so I was like, okay, you know, no problem. Just video record the game or go live so I can see the game, because I never missed any of my kids. And one thing about me, I never miss a sporting event. My friends, my family, my kids, they're biggest supporters. I am his fans. Like, I don't miss nothing when it involves my children. Track, football, I don't care if it's okay. I'm not missing it. I don't. No job in the world make me miss nothing with my kids. So the fact that I was stuck in this hospital bed and I could not be at my son's game was. But I told him, I was like, just go live or something, and you know, I'll see it from there. And he's like, okay. So they're giving me all a hug, and everybody. D'Anthony's like, okay, mommy, I want to give you a hug. I was like, okay. It's like, I want to give you the biggest hug. And I was like, okay, you know, you gonna see me. Well, as a matter of fact, because when I get out this hospital, we're gonna go see Moana, because Moana was coming out. I was like, we're gonna go see Moana. He was like, you promise? And I was like, I promise. We're gonna go see Moana. As soon as I get out this hospital, that's gonna be the first thing we did, because that's something we did every other weekend with all the kids. We would take them to the movies. No matter if it was a movie or whatever, I would take the kids to the movies. And he was like, you promise, mommy? And I was like, I promise. And he was like, okay, I love you. Gave me the biggest hug and the biggest kiss. And that was the last time I physically saw D'Anthony. December 1st, 2016. So.
Damn, man. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't wanted to get to this part of the story for real, for real. I didn't even want her to get to this part of the story, gang. I did not want her to get to this part of the story. Damn, rest in peace, young boy, man. Damn, how did the fire start? Like,
They leave, right? And so I find watch, you know, get up.
it's just, damn, man. You know how you watch a story time and you don't really want them to get young. Have you ever watched a story time and y'all got to the part where it's like, damn, um, I don't want them to get to the part. I don't want them to get to the part where everything go bad.
after, probably a couple hours later, and I'm looking and I see the live video, and I'm super excited cheering my son on. And you know, the second day, December 2nd comes in 2016, and it was a crazy day for me because I just felt like just wasn't feeling good, too good, and I was just, just didn't feel like myself that day. So I really didn't visitors that day because I feel like being bothered with anybody, not the kids or anything, but just the kids usually only came up there maybe a couple times a week, if that, because again, I was getting a lot of rest trying to get my feet.
I don't know what happened. Come on.
And get myself together to have my daughter. But one of those days I just was just something just felt a little off. So December 3rd comes, and I remember that day I talked to Anthony because I was talking to him probably 5 or 6 times a day because I had that little virtual cat downloaded on Talking Tom. That was his name. I had that downloaded on my phone, and that he played with, and it's something he did, right? He fed that cat all the time. So I had it on my phone. He would call me 30 times a day. Mommy, did you feed Tom? Did you feed Tom? Did you feed Tom? Yes, I fed Tom. Yes, Tom is good. Okay, Mommy, I'm just making sure. Mommy, how my baby sister doing? She's doing good. I can't wait till you have my baby sister so she can come home and we can.
Y'all remember when y'all had them little virtual pets on your phone back? The little virtual pets, not the Pokemon, but you can have like a cat, a dog, a snake, an animal, and you gotta feed it and all that stuff. Y'all remember them Johns?
Movies, and I'm like, yes. So 3rd December 2016, and he was like, okay, now I need you to take the kid time for me. I'm like, Anthony, cat. He was like, you have to take good care of him always. I'm like, okay. Again, just weird. And that another thing that stood out to me, because I'm like, why is he saying take care of this cat always? Like, December 4th is the day like that my whole life changed. Like it probably was the second to, I would say, the third hardest day of my life. Something that you just don't expect, something unexpected, and something would have never thought would have happened to me. You looking like just like everything is happening and it's a place for you. But you could take is in a blink of an eye. Everything that's wonderful and that's amazing and it's just happening to you is just gone, just
like that.
So part 4.
Life can just slip through your fingers, like, man. One minute you here, the next minute you not. One minute they here, the next minute they not. That's why I tell people, man, cherish the moments that you got, man. Make memories, man. Cause this shit, life ain't, man. Life is not guaranteed, gang. Life is not guaranteed.
Of what happened to my son, D'Anthony Fire. So as I stated, December 4th, 2016 was probably like the third worst day of my life. Forget it. Woke up that morning feeling a lot rejuvenated. I think again, it's just very uncomfortable because I've been in this hospital bed for weeks now. I'm getting bigger. I can't really do anything. So, I'm a little frustrated and, it's just a lot of things going on. And that morning was something different. Everything just was supposed to be a perfect day, but it wasn't. It turned into a really bad day. So, my son, well, my mother called me that day, and she was talking about getting for the kids' school and uniforms and things of that sort. And her washer had messed up, so something had happened to her belt on her washing machine, and their dad wasn't there. He had went somewhere or went to his mother's house because he had dropped our oldest two kids off with his mother because they were spending the weekend with her. But then he also had to his mother's house to help her while he was coming from work. So my mother called me and she was like, I'm getting the clothes together so that way when he gets back he can take them and go get washed. Great, no problem. So it probably was about 9 o'clock in the morning or so, and I remember that I was laying there and I was watching order and back, and she was like, I need to talk. My mother called and she's like upset because at the time she was keeping my third oldest, D'Anthony, and my baby boy. Because remember, my oldest two were at his mom's house for the weekend. So she had the third, fourth, which is D'Anthony's the fourth, and the baby. It's like, I need you to talk to your they. I was like, oh, she was like, D'Anthony and Puss, they're running out.
Hold on, before she get into this part, I don't know why she's glitching. Y'all always saying like, is this an AI story? This is not one. This is not an AI story. We don't never post AI stories. All right, this I don't know. Maybe it's a filter on her, something like that. I can think it's AI at this point. I'm well off. You real humans. Y'all like, is this AI? This not AI. All right, I'm just gonna say it right now. This is a real person. I think she's just probably using one of those makeup filters
Yeah,
and it's glitching. It's not on our end
yeah.
at all.
Commercial.
And they have no shoes on your feet. I need you to get on them. Well, my third oldest son, he's a person that he gets into things. So he was a little hard at the time, and D'Anthony always acted as the bigger brother because they're too apart. So my third son was 6, Anthony was 4, and I remember the first thing I said was, I was like, what are they doing? They keep trying to run in the snow with no shoes on their feet. Snowing. And I'm like, put D'Anthony on the phone. And he was like, yes, Mom. I was like, what your butt doing out there trying to run in the snow with no shoes and socks on your feet? Are you crazy? Like, don't run outside with no shoes and your socks on your feet. You know better than that. And he was like, Mommy, I was running outside in the snow because I just want to play in the snow one more time. I was like, what you mean? Get your butt back in the house. Not knowing. He was like, literally, he was telling me, Ma, I just want to play in the snow one more time.
Damn.
So I was like, okay, put your brother on the phone. So I remember, so my third son got on the phone, and I was like, what are y'all doing out?
So that's making me feel like she's saying like he wanted to eat chicken for the first time. He wanted to eat fruit for the first time. Cause remember she was saying he was doing all these things that he normally don't do, and it's like the way she putting it, like, damn, I wanted to, play in the snow one more time. It's like, damn. It's like I really feel like people know when they're about to go. Damn.
Out there trying to play in the snow. What is going on? And he was quiet. And I was oldest. You know better than that. You got your outside in the snow. Don't do that no more. You make sure you get your butt in the house and listen to your grandmother. Okay, mom. So they got. I said, put D'Anthony back on. So D'Anthony got back on the phone because it was something about like yelling at D'Anthony, or if D'Anthony would get popped on his butt or something. Bad. Like for him, it was just because he gave you like these eyes, and he just had this look that will break your heart if you did something, like if he got in trouble. I said to him, now make sure you don't go back out there in the snow. You hear me? He was like, yes, mama. I was like, all right, I love you. And he was like, I love you too, mommy. And that was the last conversation I had with my son. That was the I heard my son. And so I remember I laid back down because I was tired. I was still, a little tired. I had been up and going up, waking up, going to sleep, waking up, going to sleep. And I remember I went to sleep, and then I woke back up. And I was like, let me call back and see if, their father had came to get the clothes and to make sure everything, was falling into order. Us mamas still doing stuff when we're not when we're not supposed to do, but just following and just checking in, checking in. Mom didn't answer the phone. I'm like, I called her twice, and it's like, that's unusual. And I was like, they'll call back. I didn't think anything of it. And about 30 minutes or so later, I was just scrolling on Facebook. I got this inbox on Facebook from one of my mother's neighbors. She was a younger girl I went to school with. And she inboxed me and she said, fire. And your 3-year-old is trapped inside.
What mom do to them at?
Like, what?
Huh?
So can you imagine just laying in a hospital bed, you pregnant with a very dangerous condition going on at the same time, and I'm laying in this hospital bed, and I'm being told that my mother's house is on fire and one of my children are trapped in there. And she said 3-year-old, and I'm like, I don't have a 3-year-old. Like, maybe this time now I'm panicking, and I call my mother again, and she's not answering the phone. I called her another time, she's not answering the phone. I called her another time, she's not answering the phone. So I'm like, what is going on? So I instantly called their father. I'm calling his phone. He's not answering. So now my heart is like really speeding. It's really beating. So I press my nurse's button. My nurse comes in. She's like, everything okay? I was like, no. So I just go into this instant panic and attack. And I'm like, they said my mother's house is on fire. I don't know what's going on. She was like, oh my God. Nurse runs out the room. And she's like, I guess she must have went and told the other nurses. And the other nurses come running in. Just calm down. One nurse is like, let's see if we hear anything on the scanner or anybody coming in. Like, is it in Gary? And I'm like, yes. It's Gary, Indiana. Is it in Gary? I'm like, yes. She was like, let's see if anything coming. And just calm down. I've got like 4 nurses around me. I'm like hyperventilating. Nobody's answering the phone. So I call their father's, my mother-in-law at the time. I call her. And I said, I called her, she didn't answer the phone. So now I'm panicking even more. I called us another time. Still didn't answer the phone. So then I called his grandmother, and she answered. And I said, have you heard from him? He's not answering. Have you heard from him? And she was like, no. I was like, they just said my mother's house is on fire. I don't know what's going on. She was like, oh my God. I was like, please call over to the house and see if he's over there at your daughter's house, if he's over there, so we can figure out what's going on. She said, so he hangs up. So I hear nothing. Like, I'm still there. I'm panicking. I'm like hyperventilating at this point. I can't breathe. Nobody's telling me nothing. Then one of my cousins that didn't even live in the city, she texts me in my inbox, and I hadn't heard from her in probably or something. Says, hey, call me, we're important. And I'm like, why is nobody telling me anything? Like, what is happening? So the nurse comes back into the room, and she's like, there was an incident, and they're bringing your family into the hospital. And what we're gonna do is get here, we're gonna take you downstairs. And I'm like, I'm still like, who, what person, what is going on? So
this is just terrible, gang. This is fucking terrible. Cause like, who all got hurt? Did grandma get hurt? Like, did the other babies get hurt? Cause the other kids was there. Like, I'm pretty sure she probably gonna tell us, but I guess what I'm saying, like, damn, dang, I can only imagine how she felt. I know she felt helpless because she's laid up in a hospital bed. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with the other baby that she got about to have. So it's like, and then nobody's, like, she getting hit up on Facebook instead of like her regular phone. I can only imagine what was going through her mind and how she felt, and like what she like she probably just felt helpless. Like, man.
Their dad's cousin, she lived right up the block. And so part 5 of what happened to my son. So as I was stating, his cousin
how it started
lived probably right across the street. And the grandmother must have called her and let her know what was going on, because she was there at the hospital. And so she to me, calls my phone, and is like screaming. But she's downstairs in the hospital, so she had beat everybody to the hospital. She's like screaming. She's like, oh, they not telling me nothing. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, please calm down. Like, please talk to me, calm down. Like, I don't know what's going on. They telling me nothing. I'm just like, okay. I'm just like, I'll be down there, right? Because I had to wait for them to get me a wheelchair. I had to wait to see what was going on. We don't know nothing. I don't know who's sick. I don't know if anybody's hurt. I don't know nothing. I'm so fire. There was actually a fire. People were being brought into the hospital. My family was being brought into the hospital. Who in my family it was, I didn't know anything. That's all I knew. I didn't know if it was my son. I didn't know if there was a dad. I didn't know if it was my mother. Nothing. I didn't know if it was who. I didn't know nothing. So I didn't know if it was my brother, because my brother lived with my mother at the time. So my baby brother. So I didn't know nothing. My youngest brother. So I'm like, what is happening? So finally, they get me a wheelchair. They wheel me downstairs. There, my husband's there, and so he's like pacing back and forth. He's like, they're not telling me nothing. They're not telling me nothing. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, who is it? He was like, it's DeAnthony. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, where's everybody at? Like, where's my mom? Like, where is my young? Where is my third? Like, whipping him. So I rode. So he like, man, they're not telling us nothing. They're not telling us nothing. So I get around the corner, because when we got down to the emergency room, there's like this wall, and I see my mother. She's sitting in one chair, and she's like covered in kind of smoke. She's got my youngest son on her lap, and he's in a diaper and a t-shirt with smoke. And then I see my third son, hole in his pants. You go where it's like burnt or something. And so I'm looking at my mom. I'm like, Mom, where's D'Anthony? Like, what's going on? What happened? And so she's just looking at me. Like what is happening? Like, I'm so confused. I don't know what's happening. I'm in shock right now because I see everybody. Then so family's starting to come in to the hospital, and I'm like, so one of my good friends, she's in middle school. She actually was an RN at the same hospital, and I just remember her coming out, and she just looked at me. And she just kind of gave me this look, and she just gave me a hug. And I was like, whoa, like, what's going on? Like, she like, and I just see kind of like this watery look in her eyes. And I'm like,
It's over.
and I'm like, not like her. Like, she's a very smiley, bubbly person. And you could just see this look in her face, and it was just like not good. So I looked up at her, and as I'm looking at her, she's like, the doctor about to come out and talk to you. I'm like, well, don't tell me my son gone. Like, do not tell me my son is gone. And she was like, the doctor about to come out and talk to you. So they called me and my husband and tell us to come into the room. It's this room. And so they bring us around. It was like, so we want to let you know that your son, he is. I said, don't tell me my son's. That's all I kept saying. Please do not tell me my son is. Please do not tell me my son is. They was like, no, he's not. They said, but he is very sick, and have to ship him out to Chicago. And it was like he absorbed a ton of carbon monoxide poisoning. We don't have an accurate number, but right now his levels are showing like 50, close to 57.
Ooh.
This is what the 50. This is what's in his report. Everything, and the average adult human can only hold 25%, and he's very sick. And it was like, if he comes out of this, he's never gonna be the same. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Like, what? I'm still trying to process what happened. I don't know what happened other I said, so your other son, your third son's to the hospital on a different ambulance. D'Anthony had to go on his own ambulance. He couldn't fly because it was the first day of the snowstorm and the propeller freeze. So it's going to be about. So at this point, I don't know. I just don't know what's going on. So they just, like I said, they said that nobody could ride in the ambulance with D'Anthony because if he was too cold, you know. So they said they had to take him to Chicago because they had an oxygen chamber room that he needed to be in. And the hospital we was at didn't and for that. So that's why they was sitting him out there. So they put him on the ambulance. He left. They did say, they was like, well, my other kids, somebody could ride with them. So by then my siblings had got there. So one of my siblings rode with them. One of my siblings rode with my youngest son. The other sibling, their son.
Crazy. Commercial.
I couldn't even imagine how she's feeling right now. Nobody is giving her any strangers basically that know that something's going on. I get, her mom and husband are going through a lot at that moment, but imagine being in the hospital, nobody's answering your phone, you got a lot going on already, and now you're hearing something is possibly happening with your kid, and nobody is answering. Nobody, but your cousin down the street, got contacted first. It's just like, as a mom, I'm just like, what? I would want to know what happens to my kids if I'm asking my mom and she's just like silent.
Right.
That would literally crush me because
My cousin from out of town found out
I do
before
with
me,
my kids
all
exactly what
this type of
happened.
I
Play
would lose.
me. I want to know exactly what happened. Don't sit there in shock. I couldn't even I would be speechless because
Hell yeah.
I'm confused on what happened, but I'm and don't have no idea what's happening.
Right.
And nobody's saying anything. Nobody. And then like the friend coming out that's a RN hugging me before I'm about to hear this news. I just couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I was thinking like the reason why that nobody was telling her is because of the condition that she was in. I'll be scared to tell her too. I think it has a lot to do with guilt and also the fact that she was in that, that scary pregnancy state. Nobody wanted to be the first to break it, not even her
So she
husband.
is.
Nobody to tell like, hey, this is what's happening,
She is
and this is,
pregnant. Right.
because I think they would have been worried more about her too in that situation. So I mean, it's hard to sit here and really blame anybody for like not really saying nothing, especially when this is the type of situation everybody is facing. But it's like I can understand where you're coming from. It's like, yeah, I would want to know. I definitely would want to know what's going on. I mean, what I've done in this situation. If you was in a similar situation, would you have told her right away, or would you have just? There's a reason why they tell the doctor to do it. It's a reason why the nurse couldn't come out and just tell her. It's people who are just better at this than other people. They get paid. It's a part of their profession. I wouldn't know how to tell it to my own sibling. To my own. I wouldn't down to him either without be completely distraught
Mm,
about what the hell just took place, especially knowing that, D'Anthony actually mentioned this in a dream before. That would make me. I
right.
grew up in one of those type families too, where they was really supersticious when it comes to dreams and dreams being like a gateway to your future or whatever the case may
Like,
be. And I always looked at, I
it's like
was real big on that too, so I can understand it from. And I probably would have overlooked it too.
it's like your 4-year old son say to you that he passed away. He went basically went to heaven in a fire. And that's exactly how he really passed away, in a fire. A couple weeks later or something like that. Like, and tell me that they passed the basement gang. They can't go outside no more. They can't. Whatever the cause was, they're gonna be away from there. We're gonna go. What you what? Or we move into a house made of ice. Then fuck out of here.
Too, because I done had dreams that didn't come true, and dreams that did come true. So it's hard, man, when you're in these type of situations. That's why we just listening to this story. Don't know what to say. I do not know what to say other than to just listen and be like, this is shocking. Like I mean, what would you say? What can anybody say in a situation like this? None.
Right.
Then my doctor, they said to me, you can't leave. I can't here. What do you mean I can't leave here? They're like, we charge you. You could die.
Mm-hmm.
Leave this hospital. So right here, I'm in a trauma. I'm dealing with my own situation. I got 3 sons, my 3 children that have to get out. I could possibly I got going on. My mother's here. So I ended up going out there, and he left our car there. And he was like, I'll go there, and then we'll just keep a communication on what's going on. Because you having to make the decision and take a risk on that moment for your 3 children, or risk the life of you and pregnant with, right? Can you imagine how that felt for me? That was the hardest. Like, I was going through. So I remember that I was laying there in the hospital, and I was just like crying because I don't know the full story still. I don't know the condition of my child. I don't know nothing. I'm blank, right? And this is December 4th, late night. The fire happened at about 2 o'clock or so, and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then now we're probably at like 11. So they got him to the hospital. They put him in the oxygen chamber. I remember they called me. So when they got him to the hospital in Chicago, I remember I got the phone call, but it was the chaplain on the phone. And she said, hi, I'm calling to check in. I'm introducing myself. My name is such and such. And I remember at that moment, I was like, this is not good. I was like, well, why are you, where's the nurses? Well, the nurses for me to give you a call. I knew at that moment, I was, again, it was mother intuition that was like, this is not good. This is it. And so she was just saying, you know, he's right now, they're working and trying to get him stabilized and back healthy, and, you know, doing what they are, really taking their time with him. Okay, so part 6.
These damn commercials killing me. I gotta get YouTube Premium. They irritate me with these commercials. Hey, Messi, me and you gonna rumble, bro. You got these commercials turned up high as crap. I don't even got my commercials turned up that high.
What happened? Story time. What happened to my son, D'Anthony Smooth? I forgot to tell y'all here in the video that Smooth is his nickname. He was smooth with the lady, so his nickname every time. So it's like, my name is D'Anthony Smooth Person. So his nickname. So it's part 6. So I'm a chaplain, and as I stated, I asked, I'm like, why is the nurse not calling me? Like, what's you, and just kind of update you and just to keep you in the loop, just to add anything right now that we can do. And I said, so what's the condition of my son? Like, you know, status? And she's like, well, they're gonna call you back, everything. They're gonna let you know what's going on, you know, touch bases with you. And so, you know, I'm just like, so what was your purpose in calling me, right? This side of my mind is like, you know, it's not good. Like, what was her purpose, right? But again, that's just part of your, I mean, everything that you're going through at that moment. You're angry, you're upset, you know, everything is just going on. And This is a chaotic scene. I'm in the hospital by myself. My mother's downstairs in ICU. My 3 kids in Chicago. I can't go because I'm risking my life or my unborn child's life. I don't know what happened. I know the story at the time. I just didn't know anything, right? Which I'll tell you guys towards the end of what happened, right? So I'm like, so now I'm just there. So I hang up from her, and a little bit, probably about an hour later or so, the dad called, and he's like, "Hey, the doctor wants to talk to you." And I'm like, "Okay." So the doctor gets on the phone. He introduces, and he just tells me, just, touching bases with you. They put him in the hyper chamber. Is the machine or the room that gets all the carbon monoxide poisoning out of him. We were able to get all the carbon monoxide poisoning out of him. However, in the midst of your son here, he also suffered 5 strokes. So on his way to the hospital, my baby had 5 strokes. And it was like, but he's holding on and he is fighting. It was like, and he still has some brain function. We're trying to see. So it's up to him to wake up. So I remember just sitting there and I was just stuck. I was just frozen. I didn't know what to do. What do I do as a mother how do I help my children, or when I do? What is mother? And I just remember just sitting there and I was like, okay. So their dad on the phone was explaining to me about the boys. He said my youngest son did have but not as much as the Anthony, of course. So he was doing good. He was just coughing up a lot. And my 3rd oldest son, he did have a little burn that went through his pants. He didn't have any monoxide, any type of smoke inhalation. I meant to say, I'm sorry, smoke inhalation in him. So it was just more so the little burn on his. And he was about to go back and go check on them, and he would just call me back and try to get some rest. Now he knew I wouldn't rest. If anybody know Carrie, everybody love her kid. My kids are life. They look walk, right? So I just remember when I got off the phone with him, I remember at that moment, I literally, my eyes, and I prayed. And I said, Lord, I don't know what's going to happen. I said, but thy will be done. And I remember saying, if it's meant, my son, you have him pulled through, and he ain't going to be nothing wrong with him. He's going to be a walking miracle. And if it's meant for my son, he was meant to do different, then you're not going to let him suffer. So I prayed that night, and I couldn't sleep. So my doctor, my actual GYN, she called personally, and she said, hey, I'm just checking in with you. She had my OBGYN since I was in my late teens. So this is, she delivered all my children. Great relationship with her. We pretty much were, you could have called us like, knew me. So she called me and she's like, listen, I just found out what happened. I'm so sorry about what you're going through right now. Is there anything I can do? I was just telling her, I'm just stressed out because I'm sick and I know I can't go anywhere. And she was like, I understand. But I need you to, at this point, to try to relax. And if I'm going to, something to help used to just kind of get comfortable to sleep, things of that sort. I ended up getting some medicines, just help me sleep a little bit. And I remember this is after I said prayers and praying. I went to sleep. It seemed like I'm 2 minutes, I promise you, but it had actually been about 2 hours or so. And I got another phone, and it was their dad. And he said, "I wants to talk to you again." And I remember my heart just kind of stopped. And the phone just came in the room and she was like, "Your husband's on the phone." And to him, and he was like, "Doctor, I want to talk to you." But the strain in his voice was like, "Okay." So we got back on the phone and he was like, "Hey, just following up with you again. Like I told you, carbon monoxide is totally out of them. They do a significant amount of drain. Of course, he had the 5 strokes, and his brain function went for 30%. Went from when he first got here, he did reflex, but now deterioration is down to like percent. Is there a way you can get out here?" When I heard, "Is there a way you can get out here?" I knew it was. I just knew it. I just knew, like, the inside of me just knew. It was like, this is him telling me, ready to come tell my son goodbye. Like, you just know, like, as a mother, I'm a mother, because fathers too, like, you feel that with your child, you feel when patterns is like that was wrong. And I was, yep, I'm getting kid. At that point, I had to make a decision that I love all my children. My unborn had to make a decision at that point. And so, just so happened right after phone with his doctor out there, my doctor, my OB-GYN, called me back. And she, "Listen, I can't release you, but if you are telling me you don't want treatment, you can't stop the way and telling me, like, give your child." And this day to do that. Get to your child. It's time to go. And I said, I understood saying to me without having to tell, she can't tell me that. Right? And that night, grandmother, and I told her hospital so she can drive with me out to Chicago, because I was checking myself out this hospital. It's my son in the morning. And that was my next move. Part 7 on my son, DeAnthony Smooth Friday. So, like I said, we at the hospital. I made the decision to check myself out. I had talked to his grandmother, but she, the next day, she was getting somebody to drive, and she was going to drive my car, and we was going to go out there. Like, there was no negotiating no more. I just had to take myself and make the decisions. Therefore, I had to get to my son. I had to get to my other kids. That was my. So she got there early that morning, and we were driving. But I swear to you, every minute, every second, everything just felt like eternity. You didn't. He was called saying he was gone. I didn't know if I was gonna get that call saying he was gonna wake up. I didn't know what was gonna happen. Honestly, so I'm there. I'm worried about myself. What about me? Like, my only daughter, my youngest child, I'm carrying right now. Like, what's gonna happen? So, get to the hospital, and before we got to the hospital, the great thing my doctor, as I told y'all in the video, is that she's delivered all my. She's an amazing doctor. Love her to death. And she delivered all my kids. Before I had checked myself. me on the phone. So I have a friend that's a residency doctor that if you need a bed, I'm gonna have a bed ready for you. But just stay in contact with me, and then when you get everything settled with getting ready to deliver your baby and things of that sort next month, because again, this is December.
Shout out to these doctors that are involved. Nowadays, you don't really find genuine. It's just in and out. They're just trying to switch rooms out, and they don't really care as much. But it seems like these doctors that came in contact with her, they were there for her best interest. They understood the asthma, how hard it could be, and I love that the doctor was like, you know what, you can leave, but I can't say it legally. So go to you're gonna be. And then the other doctor said, I got a bed waiting for you if anything does happen. Go see your son though. Go. And I love that they do that, because I know that was not the case. She would probably regret.
And I don't even knock her for taking the risk. Like, she had to make a choice in that moment. It lost her unborn, her son that was currently, it's a tough decision at the end of the day. I already know it's a tough decision. And the fact that said, like, she took the risk at the end of the day. And when you got God with you, God, I won't say God won't put too much on your plate that you can't have stuff people say. I think that was more of a myth. I never found anything in the Bible that said that, backed that up. But, definitely He will give you the strength to get through. God will give you the strength, the tools, and the people, like how she has had all of these around her. Most of us don't have that type of support on a day-to-day basis. So if we went through something like this, we will probably truly be, like I said, God, if you God, you never know who God may put in your place in those moments. But look at all the people God with this time. You that she ain't even speak to in a long time that's supporting now, and family members, just all type of people just normally would in her circle, and trying to help her and trying to be there to be her support. And I know for a fact all God's doing. So I want to, God bless her in the moment. God is definitely with you in this moment. He definitely heard.
Right.
I love how that she didn't blame it on God. She said, God, if my son's meant to be here, please make him come out of this full health. Not meant to be here, please let him go without suffering. That's such a powerful prayer. It leaves God with the decision instead of saying, God,
Little boy.
don't do this. And it's like, God, I'm gonna love you. And that I can respect that 100%. And yeah, man, this woman is beyond strong. It's probably the strongest woman I've ever, like, telling a story like this through all of these things and still being able to sit here and articulate this so well and so well thought out. I just because trauma, you tend to things out. The fact that she could still dip into those most traumatizing moments in her life and be able to feed it up. I mean, not feed up, but love about it, break it play by play. It's truly, honestly, it's a miracle on that as well too. I believe this story needs to reach people. It needs to reach somebody that's going through something similar. That's grieving mother out there will watch this and probably gain a lot more than better just listening to people who've never been in this type of situation before. So that's all. But yeah.
Yeah, and she says, what do you do when you're in this situation? You're helpless, and you don't know what to do. Pray, 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 pray.
Mm-hmm.
God is all the time.
This is December 5th. We're
Commercial. I cut my nails. Jones like ching, like fuck. You know what I'm saying?
on December 5th, and you could deliver. I was due to deliver my daughter January 10th. So she's like, just let me know. Beautiful. So I get to the hospital. When I get to the hospital,
What's happening? There's too much happening right now. No.
Other have ever had to do. Can you do mommy another?
What?
Tell Monday what you need. We're creating him Tony. Now let's give him context. I'm giving Tony the relevant boards. Let's say.
I think I skipped. I think I skipped some of the video, yo.
Mommy and never. You sure you keep an eye out for baby doll and strip any little boy you see walking with
Yeah.
sidewalk. Hello. No, serious, baby. I love
Hold on, y'all. I think I skipped some of the video, gang.
I know I'm not the type, but this one right here this is a lot. I can barely even keep my mind together with this. But she can hold through.
Hold on.
C-section.
You
So
skipped some of the video.
they got my
Definitely.
foot. It's like bricks was just being thrown at me, and I'm not feeling.
I'm like, we ain't that part yet.
It's like God. It's just like something, and it's just hard to hear. It's hard to take in. It's hard to comment.
I know we was on like part 6 or something. Hold on.
He fell asleep watching The Good Dinosaur, and to this day, I've never watched that.
We back here somewhere, right here.
I was like, yeah, like it was bad. So she was, you want to go see him? I'll take me to my child.
Right.
So we get there, and he had like the biggest room in the but he was on ventilators, and they was like, so they explained to me, yeah, even from last night when we last talked to you, his brain has dropped from 30% down to like 15-17%. And I'm like, so like again, it's up to him to wake up.
Man.
Like now, it's up to him to wake up. So I was like, okay. So they was like, we're still doing testing. But we're gonna keep doing it. We've been working on it for a couple. We worked on him all day yesterday. He didn't respond to any tests yesterday. More tests, and then we'll go from there. Go ahead and go check on your children. So I went and I checked on my third son, and he was in there eating, watching cartoons. He was doing well. Went in there and checked on my baby boy. He was sitting up in the bed. He had just started walk, so got those cribs that kind of can't stand them because they look like caves, but he was up in there, and so that gave me a relief and a smile to see how that they were doing. My baby boy had cough, so and it was just part of the reflex of everything that was going on. And so now I'm like, let me figure out what happened. I'm now able to sit there and say, what the hell happened?
Here we go.
Apparently, my third oldest son, by mistake, their father had to get the clothes, and when he get the clothes, he was to go take, like we talked in the other video, and when he was going to go take them to get washed, My Anthony asked him, like, Daddy, go with you? And he was like, yeah, you can go with me. Let me make sure your grandma got all the clothes like that. And he turned on the movie, get mom to get everything together and put up and everything. So he turned on the movie The Dinosaur, and then he fell asleep watching the movie The Dinosaur. And my baby boy fell asleep at the playpen. And so my third son was the only one that was up. So his dad was like, he would take him with him to go wash clothes. Because remember I told you, D'Anthony didn't go nowhere without us. Like, I mean, we didn't go anywhere without D'Anthony. D'Anthony was everywhere with us. He was asleep, and he was like, I didn't want to wake him up. So I fell asleep watching The Good Dinosaur. And to this day, I've never watched that full movie. And I know what it's about, and I can't watch the movie because it's crazy that he felt watching that movie, right? And so my third oldest son was up, and he just let my mother know, hey, he's up, I'm about to leave, other two asleep. She's like, okay. He left. So my third son asked my mother to go use the restroom in her townhouse. Boom. Went to go use the restroom because it was upstairs. Went to go use the restroom, but instead of him coming back, he found the lighter in my brother's room, and he struck the lighter and caused the mattress, those mattresses is like, when somebody comes, those old like roll out mattresses, my mother like in a room, like if somebody came over to stay, he struck the lighter and set the mattress on. He yelled downstairs for my mother, and she flew upstairs and tried to get him out the room. She saw the fire, grabbed the room, but because he was in a separate room where my youngest son and D'Anthony, she ran him down the stairs, front door, tried to go back upstairs. She got upstairs, he was the first thing at the bedroom door with my youngest son in there. Grabbed him out and ran him down the stairs. When she went back upstairs, the power cut up. And she tried to go in the room to D'Anthony, but the smoke was too bad, and she was feeling around, but she couldn't find him because D'Anthony had rolled over to the end of the bunk bed. Because again, remember, he was asleep. So she went on the stairs, yelled, was screaming for help. Somebody called it. It's a fire. It's a baby stuck in the house. And just so happened, remember I told you my cousin I talked to in a while, her cousin, her dad's side, was driving past the complex and my mother threw the kids' car. And then she tried to go back in there and couldn't, and it was a guy, he ran the house with my mother. He couldn't find out what room my son was in.
So how did they find him eventually? Fire not spread that far to him? Like, how did he get out? Like, fire.
We destroyed an enemy cruiser.
So part 8 on my son, what happened with my son, D'Anthony Smooth Frierson, and losing him. So as I stated in the last video, came in and helped my mother with trying to find and trying to get him out the house. He went up the stairs to try to go find him, and my mother was outside the door, trying to make sure she, even in the smoke and things of that sort. Well, meanwhile, he's upstairs trying to find, he doesn't know what room he's in either, so he comes running back outside comes running out. So my mom's like, where's the baby? And he was like, it's too hot. It's too hot. And she was like, what? So she past him and he picked her back out the door. She's screaming and kicking to get back in. At that point, the ambulance pulls up. The fire pulls up. So when up, mama tells him, there's a baby in the house. The baby's in the house. So they're rushed and they go to the window where the fire started at. The window he was, the room that he was in. So at that point, she's like screaming, like, not that window, this window. Boom, that window. They get him. They got him out really fast. When they got in, from my understanding, he on the sleep still, and he was laying under the cover, but he had, I guess, rolled towards the end of the, which is why the first time she couldn't find him. I guess some period of time, maybe before the fire happened, he probably rolled, which Anthony did a lot of rolling. And it was the end of the bed, and he had his over him sleeping. So, he never woke in the fire.
Damn.
My heart truly goes out to everybody in the situation. The grandmother, oh my goodness.
Your buddy from
Oh my goodness. The little who lit the match. Like, I truly pray find healing in this for real. I pray that they forgive themselves, because I can already know that this type of should only leave in just a traumatized state of what I could have done, woulda, coulda, shoulda. And
Right.
it's just like,
I shouldn't have had that lighter out.
how it all, it's almost like it was his time, and I know it's hard to say that. I know it's hard to hear that. But if you would believe in God, it's we don't know God. We don't understand plans when it comes to, but when things happen, and it's just like, dang, what are the odds? What are the odds this happens and somebody else gets out and I just can't find this one that was in the same room as everybody
Right.
else? Like, God, it was just like saying, and it's hard to hear. It's hard to hear. It's hard to commentate too. It's just a lot. My prayers truly just goes out in that little boy, and also the mother, the father, everybody involved in this situation. It's truly heartbreaking. My heart just hurt more for the grandmother, because I know she tried her best, And this is why I feel like a lot of us need to be careful when we're leaving our children with older siblings, the grandparents and stuff. Are they with people that can be there for them in that moment? Because I feel like if anybody else was there during that time, then maybe, maybe it would have been a different turnout if the dad would have stayed a little longer or whatever the case may be. I'm a
No,
little
I
boy,
don't,
at the end of the day, a kid too at one point in time, and I played with lighters, I played with mattresses, and
I don't feel like I don't know. I don't feel like if the dad was there or anybody else was there, I feel like it was just like you said, God's plan. Like it's crazy to say, it's sad to say, but I don't feel like nothing could have changed that situation. When God wants you, God wants you. Like I would like to think that if the dad was there, he probably would have got DeAndre out in time for sure. I think that for sure, but at the same time, when it's God's plan, it's God's plan.
I didn't severity in it at that age, when I was a kid. So that's why I do pray. They might be a little angry with the way, but at the end of the day, we don't know intentionally, like his intention, probably just playing with it, and it
Yeah,
just,
playing around.
y'all know, we all got kids.
Yeah, accidents definitely do happen, but that is why you make sure they're being supervised 24/7. Kids get into a lot of things, and that's how accidents. And so,
Right.
and boy, it seemed like they got their
Like, look, parent
Raps.
whole life, or God has planned for you. We don't know if we're the amount of love to be in a situation they may have never, when you're going through. Just think about it. Maybe this could be the last time. news to my life. I went to function after this.
Commercial.
Hey, if you're watching this, it's because you're something with Driving Academy, and we're the only school that can guarantee.
So they said when they got him out the door that he had little to no pulse. So bad pulse, it was very faint. Got him in an ambulance. It was able to get a pulse back. So again, fast forwarded to where now I'm getting this information from like the nurses because they've collectively gathered it from the federal fire departments, the information that was given to them by my mother, people that were there and things of that sort. So we're like, it's late in the evening, it's the 5th now, right? It's probably about 10:30-ish. We're gonna go on D'Anthony again. So as I'm going through the hall to go check on D'Anthony, I'm being, rolled in a wheelchair. And this how everything's just flashing before me. It's my son that started this fire. It's my baby boy who's so little. He's only 1, right? Just turned 1 in November. Since something like this, it's my baby that's fighting for his life right now. It's what their father. He's got to kind of hold Fork down. It's me, scared for my kid. I'm losing my kid. Scared on, everything. Instead of losing right now. So it's all of emotions that I can't express. Like I can't cry. I can't at this moment. Only thing I can do is ask God to please me.
Right.
I just remember saying, Jesus, 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 Lord, Lord, Lord. That's all I kept remembering. Just shaking my head on my wheel, like while I being rolled down to his room. So we get in the room, and while we're in the room, his doctor come back in, and they're doing some more, tests on him, just what's going on, and see his, stat, things of that sort. And I remember the doctor had to. Then he was like, when I seen him, he was talking to another doctor that was in there, and the other doctor just kind of still had his in, but he looked at him, like kind of gave him. So, then they said to me, they both took stuff. The years they said to me, and my husband's like, his brain function has decreased some more, and it's being at higher teens to now below 10%. At this point too, he's fine to see any type of test being done. They're like squirting this liquid in his ear, no reflexes, no nothing. Like we're gonna do is, some more tests in the morning. We're gonna check, do some more things in the morning, and if we still get the same, reaction responses, then I'm gonna have to discuss next steps. Something a mother don't want to hear, something that no parent wants to hear. Next steps. Again, I'm just foggy right now, so everything somebody's saying to me sounds full.
I don't know.
Because I'm just in this, I'm in just like this.
I think the lighter was just, how people got lighters around their house? Like your grandma might have a lighter that she used to light the candles, or, or incense. Or, somebody might smoke and they might just have the lighter laying around somewhere. And as a little kid being curious, being bad as hell, probably picked it up and started flicking it. Shit, I damn near burnt down my folks' I don't mean to laugh, but I damn near burnt down my grandmama house. When I was a kid, I lit the whole middle room on fire, man, and they're playing with a goddamn lighter. Lit that joint on fire. You hear me, man? Damn. I was a little firebug.
Disbelief of everything happening right now. I went from great year at the beginning to it's like bricks was just being thrown at me and I'm not feeling it. I know that they're hitting. It's just so you're not feeling right. So they were like, listen, the management what you're going through right now, we need you to do is we need you to go get some rest. We need you to go here and lay down.
Yeah, I really don't think that's the case because wasn't nobody else there. Nobody else was there but the grandmom and the kids. The dad left. The dad left and went to go wash the clothes. They didn't mention nobody else. She didn't mention nobody else. She said it was the grandmom, the dad, and the kids. They dad left to go to the laundromat to wash clothes, so that only leaves the kids and grandma. That's it. Nobody else was there. They didn't mention nobody. She didn't mention nobody else being there in the story. You know what I'm saying? But I honestly think that he just found the lighter and just started playing with it. That's what I think. I don't think nobody fell asleep and was smoking and left. I don't think none of that. I think that he just happened to come across a lighter and start playing with it and made a mistake. That's all. And I don't think nobody's blaming him. Like you gotta think how old. I think he was like because DeAndre was 5, so the oldest kid had to be like 6 or 7. So like yeah, like yeah, yeah, yeah. It was just a mistake. Like it was just a kid being a curious kid playing with some shit that he shouldn't have been playing with, and it got out of control. And rest in peace to the little homie DeAndre, DeAnthony. I keep calling him DeAndre, DeAnthony.
And be able to, you know, you got to get some. So at that point, I agreed. They had a room for us down the hallway with a bed and everything. And now it's probably about I'll say about 1:30.
Oh, 4. Okay.
Lay down. I was able to feel myself a little shut eye.
She said 5. Yeah, I thought she said he was 5.
This, you're not ready.
Oh yeah, it say 4. Okay, yeah, 4-year-old.
3 o'clock, got up. I was like, I gotta use the restroom. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, the title say 4, so yeah, he was 4. Okay, yeah, okay.
Get up, I go to the restroom. I tell you, to the restroom, and all of a sudden, I just had this massive hemorrhage. And I just exploded. I just started screaming. And so their dad came running in. He was like, oh my God. He just hit him, was like, this is too much. So he calls for the nurses. So nurses come flying. This puddle, like, it was like a small swimming pool. Like, it was just. So like, we gotta rush her right now. Let's get her upstairs. Yeah, she's hemorrhaging.
Oh no, she was hemorrhaging. So her water broke, and she was having a whatchamacallit attack at the same time. Damn.
Meanwhile, I'm not knowing my son in the hall and going on with him as well. So they rushing me upstairs. My son Anthony. So they rushing me upstairs. We get upstairs. They put me, they stabilized. And they were like, we have to deliver the baby today.
No.
And this is like December 6th now.
Okay, so her water didn't break. She was just hemorrhaging. She all that stress, and all that overexertion and being overstimulated like that caused her to start bleeding a lot. So yeah, okay.
This is now about 4:15 in the morning. We have to deliver this baby today. There's no ifs, ands, buts, or nothing. You're going to die if we don't deliver today. You've lost too much blood. This baby's not going to make it. You're not going to make it. But I got 7 more weeks to cook this baby. No, you don't. Today you're having
Stress, yeah, all that stress.
Do you know, like, I just sat there and I'm like, meanwhile, my son's doctor needs to talk.
Man.
Like, your son's doctor needs to talk to you too. We hate to do this.
Damn. I hope this doctor not telling her, hey, look, you need to pull the plug, or we need to. I think the doctor about to tell her that they got to take him off the machines and see if he gonna breathe on his own. Cause it's only so long they gonna keep you on a ventilator. It's only so long they keep people on them, because it don't do nothing but put more stress on the organs, more stress on your body after a while, and that costs a lot of money to keep somebody on there. You know what I'm saying? So, damn. Now what they will do is they're gonna take. I think he about to tell her, we're gonna take him off the machine and see if he gonna breathe on his own. And then after a while, if he don't, they gonna call it, because he gonna code out, and then they'll hook him back up, to give people a chance to say bye and stuff like that, and then they gonna call it after that. Damn.
To you, he has to come talk to you. Okay, what's going on? Comes upstairs. Her face was just so red and puffy, and like you can see she was teary-eyed before she came up those stairs. And I know, in that field with those doctors, is that they're not to render that type of emotion because it's a trip for the patients or the patient's next of kin and family. But when I tell you the emotion was all over her, it was all over her. I just remember her standing there and she speechless for probably 45 seconds. And she looked at me and she said, I really, really hate to do this, but I have to talk to you about D'Anthony. I really has. And of what happens on Friars and losing him. So at this point now, the doctor's like, we really need to talk to you. I have to talk to you, and I really hate to do it. And says, during everything that you going through and what was happening to you, some things was happening downstairs with D'Anthony. And
he coded out.
His brain has fully, brain function has fully, so at this point.
So at this point, he basically a vegetable. Like, his brain is basically non-functioning. It's not telling the body to do nothing no more. So at this point, basically, the kid is a vegetable at this point. Like, he's just a body with no function.
We checked him and did some more tests on him, and he's not responding to anything. So at this point, we do have to brain dead. We also have to clear him legally. So we are declaring deceased at this point. I sat there for a minute and I said, what? And I was just falling and crying. And
I said it. I said either he coded, meaning he's done. He basically medically deceased. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's not fully deceased, but once your brain die and you have no bodily functions and you're a vegetable, they you basically medically dead. Like, damn, damn.
what do you mean? Like, and she was like, I'm so sorry. It was could do for him. Those words haunt me. Like, sorry,
Right?
there was nothing else that we can do for him.
The brain's so sensitive. Like, the brain is so sensitive.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. First, go. When you're ready to record, just hit rec to catch.
The brain's so sensitive, man. It's not so many people that play with people's brain.
So, where do we go here? Like, what do you mean? Like, my son's not coming home with me? I can't wake up in the morning to go to school no more? Can't feed him? Like, my kids have one less sibling? Like, what are you telling me? How I go on? Like, my son didn't get to meet his sister? Like, what do you mean? Like, is he? No, he's still on the machine. She's like, I'm so sorry. She was, at this point, I know you're going into surgery. If he is to code again, or if he, code again, do we resuscitate? And just heart just sunk, because it's like, what do I say? What do I do? Like,
see,
what? I gotta make this decision whether we cut ties with my child at this point.
That's that hard part right there when they hit you with the damn, do we resuscitate? Like, DNR. Like, do you want us to bring them back? So it's like as a parent, do you go outside of being a parent and just be on get some selfish shit, like on some self, like, and you making his body go through more suffering? Or do you kind of, in a way, put him out of his misery and, take away the suffering and just let him go? Like, I remember when I was born, I died 7 times. And they asked my mom the same thing about the 4th or the 5th time I died. I think I died for like 13 minutes. The longest time I died was for like 13 minutes. And my mom said, they was about to put me inside that. My mom was like, the doctor asked her, do we resuscitate? And she was like, no. Like the last time I died, she was like, no. Like after like 5 minutes, I didn't get up. The doctor called that they wanted to go put me inside the thing, inside the bag and stuff like that. And like, put the sheet over me. And when she said the moment when they went to go, like put me in that bag and get me out of there, she said I started crying and I woke up. Man, I was born. I had a hole in my heart. I had one lung. I was blind. I was blind until I was 5 years old. I was a mess, man. Like still to this day, my mom be like, man, I wish I wasn't on so many drugs at that time when I had you. Like, yeah, I don't blame her though. I don't blame my mom. I've been forgave her. Yeah.
I'm like, my father looked at me. And he was like, I couldn't make the decision. I'm like, don't resuscitate. Do you know how hard that was for me to tell them not to continue to work on my child? Even though I know that he's gone, technically, but that I've got to let him, if something, keep him going on the machines till you come out of surgery and things of that sort, because he didn't get a chance to meet his sister. It's not fair. Like, I need to meet his sister. I was like, no, we're definitely going to keep going, keep him, on life support and things of that sort. If he's to happen, right, during that time you're in surgery, do we resuscitate? And that's it. So I asked him this. I said, well, because, how bad his health was declining, can we him up here going to surgery just in case I come out and he's not there? He was like, absolutely. So they went downstairs and they brought him upstairs. Me and his bed up there, put it side by side. I have pictures of that, which I'm video with those pictures included on. And just remember singing to him and talking to him. Like, okay, this the last time, you're gonna see your baby sister in my stomach. And, just kept saying to him that we never got the opportunity to, go see Moana. Like, we talked that I fussed at him. The last real conversation I had was me yelling at him about some stupid snowflakes and not being able to play when he just wanted to play in the. Apologize for all that, because my last conversation with my son was me fussing at him. Like, the last conversation that I had with my child was me fussing about him wanting to go play in the snow. But I was able to tell him I loved him. So point that, like, we got to get you to surgery, and we don't mean to interrupt this, but we'll have him downstairs. So before went to surgery, I just kind of was getting it off and rolled off and everything, and I just remember my heart just hurting so bad. I couldn't cry. My heart just was hurting. It was like I was having an ongoing heart attack or something that wouldn't happen. So I went into surgery, but they were like, we're gonna, put you to sleep because you're going through a lot right now. We're gonna give you something to sleep. Section. So they got my daughter out, and I remember them putting her right next to my face, and I remember looking at her saying, "Hey, mama." And then I went right back out. And she came out very healthy. Nothing was wrong with her. She came out very healthy, beautiful. And even for her to be almost 2 months early, she was 5 pounds, 4 ounces. And it's like, it couldn't be nothing but my son saying, I got you, mommy. So
when you lose a life, when life, what's that saying? When one life leaves, another one comes, or something like that. Y'all know what I'm trying to say.
we did recovery, came out of recovery. First out of recovery.
Oh, loss of life, birth, new life.
Where's my son? Is he still on? It was like he still has machines. They my daughter, and then they wheeled her down in her bassinet crib, or the little baby bed, and wheeled her down there. And they so many pictures with them. Like they took multiple pictures together. It was just a very bittersweet moment, losing my child and gaining one the same. Now how do I tell my brother? How do I tell my family that my son's not gonna come home no more? Like, how do I do that? Like, how? What do we do? And all I can think about, kid. That's it. That's all. And then I remember it was like, Anthony, and I know this could be a sensitive conversation for some people, but something that I'm really big with and I make awareness about. D'Anthony was super big at sharing, and D'Anthony just believed that. So I asked him, I said, is he eligible to be an organ donor? I'm be honest with you guys. Something I believe in, that everybody else's beliefs, that's wholly to you.
I don't think you are though that young. Or yes, you are. You are. I think you are. I think so.
And it was like, they did do some tests on some of his, there was some that that's functional was something you wanted to look into. They didn't come to me with that. I brought that to them. Like they asked, is that something we want to do? And I said, yes. You talked to yes. There was a little eerie of it at first, but I just knew my son and I knew what he stood for. So it was his liver, pancreas was good. So
I'm not gonna lie, that tells a lot about her. Like it tells a lot about her character and about the type of strength and the resilience that to the children and other people in time like this. And you still got to tell your kids what's going on. You got your own health going on. If you're going through something today, I promise you it's not as bad as what she's going through, what she's been through. This is no excuses, man. We don't get no excuses in this world. Something like this, like mentally make it out of something like this. It's nothing else in this world that you can't conquer. I feel like personally, I don't think unless this was to God forbid, ever happen again. But it makes you appreciate life, man. It make you appreciate so much differently. I know we all think organ donating is. I've always had a negative connotation about it because growing up is just if you have that on your license, then you're more likely to end up something happening to you. Superstitious about getting those things, and I've never heard nobody ever come out and say like, yeah, I did this. So to hear her say that, it was just like, wow, to me. But then I was like, maybe she's about other people in this situation, which we all could do in this situation. It just opens your mind. Like, what would you have done in this situation? Would you have been taught to do this organ donor situation, like thing? Would you have given your child's organs away, even though your child's? Because at the end of the day, if you think of it like this, when we pass away, those organs are going to waste. And there's somebody out there that can use it.
Could save their lives.
That can save their lives. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Hopefully, in the make those decisions. I don't know my license. I don't like that it's on our license and stuff like that because that kind of feels like that puts a target on our back. I still feel that way because of kidneys, all types of stuff. Never purchased one, obviously, but
Bessie's super.
I'm hearing that it happens. But I mean, at the end of the day, when it's like this, it's not like she just kind of made that last minute decision. So I mean, what would y'all thoughts? Like, what would you have? Would you have went with that move, or would you have just like eerie about that situation, or just not even wanting that at all? What y'all think about this?
Yeah, she had so much on her shoulders that I'm honestly she lost her son.
This one right here is a lot. I can barely even keep my hold herself together.
They were like, so, we talked about it, went through, the whole process of what that would look like. And so they were asking me what date do we want to take him off of life support. And at this point, this is December 6th. This is his death date. like, you know what, we're going to take him off on the 9th. That was the decision, the 8th or the 9th. But I felt hall honor walk, and just that those last couple days to give people time to kind of come in if they want before we have the plans and things of that sort. I thought sooner than later, just because he had started doing some to that sort, so we wanted to kind of make the best decision for him and making sure we did everything that needed to be done for him. And the final part of losing my son, D'Anthony Smooth Frierson, and what happened. So part 9 had a decision to go ahead and make him an organ donor. That's just, again, a decision that I felt was the best, right? Because I knew my son. I knew what individual my son was. My son would give the shirt off his back for anybody. He's just a good, caring kid. That was just who D'Anthony was. This was, again, the best decision I felt, that would some type of closure and help through him as far as like keeping him alive, right? So in process, the doctor, goes when you sign all the paper, they pull you to the side and they're going to talk about like the recipients without giving any type of personal information. And during this, there was one recipient that they brought up to us and they pulled us to the side. It was a 1-year-old little girl. This 1-year-old little girl lived in California. Her family owned a farm, and her grandmother had made mushroom soup. They didn't know bad. So everybody in the house got sick. The grandmother, the mom, the dad, the uncles. I guess it spread it real bad. And even a little girl. So the little girl got really, really sick. She was more sick, where it called to be in ICU, and she was life support. She needed a liver. Well, D'Anthony was the perfect match. The little girl had 40 to live.
Oh, shit.
If that. Max 48 hours to live. The doctor talked to us and just let us know she was one of the. He by far didn't rush us. He was like, I'm just giving you who's on this list, who's the most critical, what's happening, where these, where is everybody located, right? I'm not telling you anything with this. You do what you want to do with this. He was just explaining to us and people and what was going with them. Automatically, like, my heart just kind of froze because I was like,
1-year-old.
Again, I know a lot of people talk about organ donation and, the negative parts of it. I didn't. If anything, it was told, do what makes you happy, what's going to be best for you and your family. But just listening to just the feeling out of me when I talked about my son does and how good of a person my child was, I wouldn't have felt right. So at that point, I made the decision to take him off for life support a day earlier, so that way that little girl can have his liver. Because we made the decision, so the doctor had to notify the staff out in California and was leaving on the 7th because the decision was to take him off on the 8th. So we didn't get the chance to do his honor walk, but we did the half stand for the flag for D'Anthony. And by the time, that the doctor got there from California to do the action for the organs of that sort, it was about, I want to say like 11:30 or 12 night. And, they called up there because, we went upstairs to the room. And they called up there and was like, we just wanted to let you know that the doctor from California is here to get ready to do the operation. So if you want to come down and say your last goodbyes to your son, you can right now, or if you want to give it a little time, but, just let us know. It's like, again, this is just how selfish of me would I be knowing that we can change the narrative for this little girl. As far as when I say change the narrative, we have the option and opportunity to be part of a long, successful life. My son has the opportunity to save somebody's life. I didn't want another mother or father to go through that pain that I was feeling. That's not fair. So we're gonna sit there and let two sets of parents go through the same thing when one doesn't have to. It wasn't right. So while I was upstairs though, I decided to write Anthony a letter to be read to him down in the operating room before they started everything, because I couldn't go in the operating room with them, but I asked them as one last request, when down there, and before they started to search, somebody read this out loud and record it. They did, and then they gave me a recording of it, and it was not one in there. So this was the letter that I wrote prior to him being completely gone. I said, "Dear D'Anthony, I just want you to know that though you're not physically here, spiritually you're always D'Anthony. I swear to you, not a day will go by that you won't be a legend in not just our family, but through the lives of the ones being caring, outspoken, it has always been your personality. But do me a favor though. Try not to be too much in charge so you don't get in trouble in heaven. Just know, every time your birthday comes, it's going to be no, when Christmas comes, there will always be a gift under that tree for you. That's by far been the hardest thing your father have ever had to do. Can you do mommy another favor? Can you make sure you keep an eye on dog? If any little boy you see walk on the sidewalk, hello. No, seriously though, baby. I love you beyond belief, and I'm so proud of the fight you put up. In my eyes, because you lived through more people. Well, I know you've got people waiting on you and people to meet. So until that sweet day that you welcome me to heaven's gates, I love you and you still have a bedtime. Love, Mommy and Eddie.
Damn.
Whoa.
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Nina just built an app.
Nina can't code.
Can it generate reports?
It can now.
So you're saying we can all build apps now?
Yeah.
I'm on lunch.
I gotta make a call.
I'll be in my office.
Just built an inventory tracker.
Protein calculator.
My motherfucking laptop just almost died just now.
That was my letter to him to say, it's okay, baby. It's okay to go. Job well done. I'm proud of you. But go ahead. It was the confirmation for him to be able to know that I'm gonna be okay. It hurt, but I'm gonna be okay. Video and doing, I've always been an advocate of, the whole awareness of importance of loving your family and children. But this year was more, it's special to me because it's his 10 years, and so I thought that this is the perfect time to tell his people understand. But I like to bring awareness so everybody will know, like, love on your kids. Sometimes we get overwhelmed. Sometimes we get with life. Not just our kids, our life. But I promise you, that I can have the opportunity that a lot of you guys do with having opportunity to, clean up his mess again. I wish that I'd be able to watch him walk across his high school graduation stage and see a grandchild come from him. So people all the time, love on your babies because in a blink of an eye, anything could happen. And I am the first person to contest that is the case. I just want to tell everybody, thank you guys for the support. Remember, love, cherish your kids, and just continue to just stay.
Man, I commend that mom, gang. I commend that mom, y'all, for real.
Whew. Oh my goodness. Oh, somebody was cut.
I mean, like she said, man, y'all got kids, man. Love on y'all kids, man. Seriously, cherish those moments. Make memories as much as y'all can, because life, one minute you here, the next minute you not. In the blink of an eye, life can change like that. Snap of a finger, life can change like that. You know what I'm saying? I say it all the time, man. And I be talking to the young dudes in the streets, and I be telling them, I be like, bro, don't let them make you become a hashtag, bro. By you doing something dumb, and you become a hashtag in somebody's bio, you become a motherfucking t-shirt, a hat, a hoodie. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I tell my son every day, as much as I can, gang, live life, bro. Just don't do no dumb shit, you know? But yeah, y'all, this shit was like emotional as hell. I don't like listening to stories like this. but I commend the mom for being as strong as she was with being pregnant and still doing all these other things. And then she was still thinking about other people and her time of need at the same time. She saved somebody else's kid's life. Yeah. So she said it was 10 years. So I guess at that time she recorded that video. It was his birthday. So happy belated birthday. Young boy would have been 14 now. Rest in peace to Anthony. Well, AKA Smooth. You hear me? So, yeah, that was a good story. I don't know. Let's see if we got another one. Y'all want to listen to another one real quick? I don't know how long my laptop going. I don't know if that joint going to die or what. But let's see. I be watching Messi all the time. So let's see. Let's watch another story time real quick. Probably won't be a long one, but let's try to find an interesting title real quick. See what we come up with. Come on.
So I just want to tell everybody again, thank you guys for the support. Remember,
And she definitely was outstanding mom for sure. Let's see what else Messi got going on. That story just looked crazy. It says his mom tried to take his life over a slice of cheese. Like, what? What? Bro, what? Your mom trying to off you over a slice of cheese is crazy, gang. Okay, what? Hold on. I can't stop laughing just because the title alone is crazy. And your mom try to off you over a slice of cheese is crazy. I ain't never heard no shit like that ever in life. Y'all gotta be doing bad for Mom Dukes to be ready to off you over a slice of cheese, gang. I told Diddy I ain't walking for no cheesecake. Nigga, what you talking about? Alright. He said, oh, wait. She said his mom tried to take his life over a slice of cheese. Then the salt ritual began. She did a whole ritual over a slice of cheese. No, I gotta hear this crazy shit. I ain't never watched this. What happened, bro? Tell us what happened, bro. We want to know what happened, bro. Why did your mom try to kill you over? Try to unalive you over a slice of cheese, and then start doing a ritual, bro? We want to know, bro. I don't know if my laptop gonna die on y'all while I'm on live. I have no clue whatsoever. I hope it don't. It's plugged up on the charger, but I really hope it don't.
Biological mother tried to murder me over a piece of cheese. Always, y'all know that we don't, and a lot of people ask, well, where's Tony's family? Where's Tony's mom? Answer to that, from the ages 3 to 5, I lived in foster. People really didn't even know. I'm original. I was somewhere in Pennsylvania or along those lines, living with complete strangers. That was due to some sort of demand by my dad. As a kid, I didn't really understand much, but one way or another, she ended in custody of me. I was about 5 or 6 years old, and this was basically the one of having my mother in my life. So, as a younger sibling, things kind of seemed normal. I don't know if it was because I was a kid. Children are innocent until you make them not innocent anymore. But apparently, my mother was always crazy, so to say. Thought that she was the way that she would act, the way that she. I was able to tell that there was something very wrong with her when that she started to take her frustrations out on. And then at some point, it got to the point where I realized that she might actually be crazy. Started off as having grace towards his mother and thinking that I was the problem, turned into me soon to realize that my mother didn't know if it's who my father was. I don't know if it's because something that was in her mind, but all I knew at the time was that I was being treated was not fair and I didn't deserve it. I didn't understand what was happening. There was a point, and I would say in my preteens, probably 10 and 12, somewhere around there, on a daily in the morning, I would actually tiptoe around her and try to make myself be perfect to avoid starting another one of these episodes that she would have. Would mainly be targeted toward me. Like I said, I had a younger sibling who was 5 years older than, so she was very young, so she didn't really understand a lot was going on. It was like I would wake up for school in the morning, get asked. I didn't even do any. I didn't do anything. I woke up in the morning, mom driving me to the bus stop, and telling me not, or seeing someone standing across the street, saying that they're just like the rest of them, like asinines that me as a 10 to 12-year-old, like I'm trying to paint this timeline as I can for you. Now I'm 25 years old, so I try to, or for the longest, I had to work through it to not think about all this traumatic in order to move on from them, but I'm going to paint as best as I can for you. So I was somewhere around the age of 10 to 12 years old. Everywhere we go, every person any car we seen, she would make these crazy statements that I'm just like, where I would even spiral her to just be targeted, like to just start something with me, right? So there's so this story how to even be able to do this. Like if my wife, y'all always, y'all know that we don't have a village, and a lot of people, where's Tony's family, where's Tony's mom? And it's such a complex answer to that, to where in this story time, I know it's going to get through, but in this story I can and try to paint the picture for y'all. And I know this is a big world. Maybe someone out there is dealing with something similar to be my insight on my situation. There would be where, or it wasn't instance, this would be every day. I would wake up in the morning, I would be getting popped in my mouth on the way, leaving out the door to school.
Damn.
Definitely coming from like you have to tiptoe around your parent because you just never know when the next outburst is going to happen. My mom was the same way. I literally would do nothing if she's mad or my younger brother or aunt. Well, now she's just in this mood, and if you say anything out of line or
Right,
just
you're
even
in
look her
trouble.
way,
Right.
now it's instantly on you. But drinking, that was probably her reasons. But I definitely understand, and especially before going to school, like you're getting yelled. Now I'm anxious and I'm about to go to school and people are wondering, oh, what's wrong with her?
Just got
I'm a kid, it's like, I can definitely get where it's come from. Or it's like, oh, that hatred from your father. Like they're on you about it. And it's like, all I did was be born. I didn't ask to be here. But it's like, am I better off just running away? Or what are you doing to you're looking at me like I'm a burden.
Yeah, I feel like women or parents in general who hate their children like this, they just had those children to please the person they was with. 9 out of 10 times. I would even say 10 out of 10 times. Because just hating your child just because they exist and they look like this person or they you know, they act like this person. They even give you their whole name and still be mad at you as if you chose all of this. You chose this direction. But one thing I can say is
Motherfuckers be mad at day life. Motherfuckers be mad at day life and the way they life turned out. Like, motherfuckers, kids ain't asked to be here. Like, what you want to take out your frustration, anger, and shit out on us for? Because your life miserable. Like, ain't nobody... You made those decisions in life. Like, you know? So, for your life to be where it's at right now, like, not me.
I am happy. I'm excited a little bit about the fact that we got males speaking a little bit more on
Right.
their childhood, because you don't see a lot of men spoilers. You know, we don't see a lot. If y'all look at our channels, and all women, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just women are more than men. They're just keeping it together. So I'm gonna give them grace throughout the whole story time, because I already know that when you speak.
That's because a lot of us men was raised that we gotta be tough and strong, and we gotta, you know, hold it in and stand on 10 toes. Real men don't cry. No, man, fuck out of here, bro. I been grew out of that shit, nigga. I'm gonna cry, bro, and I'm gonna have a conversation about my motherfucking feelings, bro.
Speaking on trauma, we will stay tough and to get over it. Why we keep it in so long? So when we to the point when we actually talking, it's best to listen in this situation, because he is healing. He has healed through this situation. But I want to see a little bit more about what he was talking about. Yeah, definitely. Welcome back to the channel, Messy Family. Let's get story time.
Like, for instance, she would make a statement towards you're just evil like the rest. Fresh off wake up at 12 years old, I go to school, bro. That I can say about that. Like, my mind can't even like articulate words to even try and hold a conversation with you. Like, I'm just wondering, what are you doing? So then that type of mental load of someone has something logically wrong with them.
I'm telling you, somebody effed that lady up as a child, whether she was or like she was raped or, you know, molested as a child. Like, she had to be. Like, it was a man that did her dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like, or it happened to her multiple times, but that started as a child. That those things start as a child. Somebody mangled that lady. Somebody tore up. She got a whole lot of unsolved trauma and stuff. Like, I'm saying, I hope that she got it worked on down in life. Like, damn.
They're leading their child off to then go to school, right? Handle the load of school, but starting their day with that as their inner voice. You know what I'm saying? Their inner voice. Like, there was times I would go to the bus stop and just not quite go all the way to the bus stop, and I would just stand there and watch the bus go and just for hours and back home and tell her that the bus never came. You know what I'm saying? Just because the mind space that she will put me in have me to. I really didn't want to talk to other people because there was so much wrong at home. But it's kind of a child while you're actively going through it, to where you really do need help, but you don't know how to ask for it, how to go about it, if that's the actual thing, because this was all at time. So we do that for a while, you know, that became a daily loop. Like that, you know, of course that's going to make you depressed. I was the type to go to school, I would joke, I would laugh, you know, have fun with my so it would seem, but really in all reality, I was actually the quiet one. The things that she was in soak with me all day, to the point where I really resented when that bell would ring and it meant it was time for everybody to go home. Really dread moment. Like, I'm talking about, instead of taking a bus, I would walk home from school just so, I'm from a small town, so it's possible, to walk from school to the house, but it would take me maybe an hour plus to get there. Because I'm dreading the door. I don't know what it's going to be.
You're going to be acting crazy.
I don't know what the right approach is to even avoid whatever BS is going to come with me walking through this door.
That's a way to live.
But I just something. Most days at this point, I was about 13, 14, right? We were very poor, like to the point there would be no and we would starve, and that would probably mind. But then she would try and project it onto children and manipulate us and try to make it seem like, you know what I'm saying? Let me just tell y'all, right? God is so real, and he was through the process. I'm gonna tell y'all what I was doing, but there was a point in my life in my earlier years where I actually grew an online community. It was when gaming, like the Call of Duty era, and I was actually able to create online services for that community. Pretty good money for someone who's 12, 13 years old, bringing in, $200, $250 a day. This is probably back in 2013 or so, 2014. Bringing in that kind of money, and I would buy me and my sister Dom's wings and food like every day because there was nothing to eat. Like it was to the point like my mom would like mix flour and water and bake that shit into like some crackers. It was like some foul shit. Like I promise you, like right hand to God, I'm not making this shit up. Right? Some inhumane living conditions. Like, the longest.
That's why I tell people, man, when you getting ready to complain or when you got a roof over your head, you got a job and all types of shit, and you still want to complain about a lot of things, man, this shit could be worse, gang. This shit could be a lot worse. Your life could be a lot worse than what people went through and going through.
I thought it was a strength because I'm one of them kids, like I'm not bashing her in no way. I'm just, at the time I'm thinking like, okay, at least we got for my head. Like I never had nothing, so how can I be grateful for what we do have? Like I don't have this high horse or this other where I go spend a night in Haverland and come back to this. Like that's all we knew. We was there all day, every day. She isolated us from our entire family. When I say us, I'm talking about me. So it got to a point where I don't know how I stumbled across the avenue that I was taking to make this money. Name for myself and everything. I was consistently bringing in money, and that kept us afloat. As far as me and my sister, like I was, being supportive or actually trying to see what I was doing, bro. That spiraled into even more problems between me and because she figured I was doing something, which I'm not gonna tell if it was or not, but I'm still here. So it makes that part irrelevant. Any encounters that I had at this point in my life, she would just ring and ring and ring through my mind like this crazy woman and things that she's. Moral of the story, writing something that she was helping us get by. It was helping us to live. It was helping us to not eat the forbidden snacks that she was making for us. Like it's like a full vulnerability. Like it's been so long ago. I have my own kids, my own life today. It doesn't necessarily grown through it. I was doing all that and it seemed like that was making her angrier because I spent a lot of time on video game. I'm not gonna lie, like that was a escape from reality. Like the video game was my life. I'm not gonna lie. At this period of time, like video games saved my life. I didn't school, when you're from a small town, the same people from kindergarten, you know them all the way up until graduation. I got people that I know, but no one knew what I was truly going through. And the type of person that my mother was, she knew how to code switch real good. Like even her code switch, like people be able to tell that. But if I don't say no, they don't really have a real way of actually knowing. But the video games, when you put the headset on and you meet people on there, especially during this time when it was really in its prime, that was literally a gateway for me. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have that at the time.
I could definitely relate to this too. Like being on the internet, well, growing up, it was new for all of us. Having worlds and being able to talk to different people, escape reality. I was really big into like Guitar Hero and the Wii system and all this stuff, but like, yeah, that definitely was that outlet. It felt like an escape. Like I could just her.
They used to look at gaming like, oh, you're wasting your life, you're wasting your future. Now they're some of the richest people in the world from gaming and stuff like that. Just for trying to do nails back in the day. Dad, I don't want to go to school. I want to do nails. I want to cut hair. And they like, what? That's not a real trait. Now they're making more money than most of these degrees that we do hundreds of thousands of dollars on.
You gotta think back in the day before it was the internet, we had the games and stuff. Back in the day, you going outside, you gonna go play basketball all day long and stay out the crib, or you gonna go over to such and such crib, or you gonna do, if you like going through that type of shit in the crib. I'm telling you now, you as a kid, you found an escape to get away from it. To get that one peace of mind, you know what I'm saying? You get that moment of peace of mind. You found it doing something. I don't give a hell if you was in the if you was in the backyard playing with dirt. That was your escape at that moment, for real. And then once the video games came out, oh hell yeah, the internet was your escape.
Obtain.
It definitely doesn't surprise me that at 12 and 13 and like $250 it's like he doesn't realize how he stumbled up. And that was nothing but God who put this idea in his head to do this, and how this came about. But God placed in his hand that this is what's gonna keep you and your sister afloat. You might not happen, but he definitely fights in every way.
Whew, this is a good story time.
But she would like be mad that she would bust open my door and say, bro, she would come in my room sprinkling salt all over the floor. Like, I don't know what kind of crazy cuckoo shit that she was into, bro. That's not something that a regular child, that's not a regular child experience. Like, bro, she started putting like factors. And mind you, bro, my mom is white, my dad is black. We're not cultured in no way or fact. I'm sure somebody will be able to drop below in the comments and try to make sense of it, but it's one of them things where if it wasn't there, then you truly wouldn't know. Doing things like this that would throw me off, and in all reality, I'm actually scared because, mind you, I'm 20 years old, so I don't know about this, but this is my living situation. This is my mom, bro. Like, so I really thrived off of just asking. Like, I wait until she leave my room so I can go back to my headset, hit that unmute button, and go back to what I was doing before. At the time, for me, that was real life. That was my real reality right there on that game and them headsets, like, you know what I'm saying, talking to my little people online. That was my reality. Real life situation. I was praying to God every day to help me. Why? To help me figure out of it. Right? To help find a way out of my situation that I was in. Never make sense of why my mother hated me so badly. Mind you, growing up, I was one of them kids, I did everything my mom asked, man. I looked out for me and my son. I stayed out of trouble. I mean, maybe the overprotectiveness did help me in a sense, because I was so afraid of everything, of what anything me away from doing anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was extremely timid and introverted, and that wasn't even who I was, because, you know what I'm saying, when I get on the game, I'm not like that. But it's any life, she would just ring and ring and ring through my mind, like this crazy woman and the things that she's saying to me, you know what I'm saying? It would just always be with me, like at events. I can't even properly interact with my peers Mind you, just to put this in perspective a little bit, CPS was involved on and off my life. And people would like call them on us all the time, different scenarios. Like it was never the same person. It would always be different people for different reasons, different things would happen, right? This is actually when I met my wife. Mind you, she didn't know none of this was going on at this time. It was eighth. So you guys are following along the timeline for me. How old I was, 8th grade year. My wife, she went to school in a town. It was a town over to that school for this year because of my mom had a good job. It's the only good job I remember her ever having. And it was actually great for me because she was just gone all the time. You know what I'm saying? It was lonely because, mind you, back then I didn't have like a phone or we didn't have internet or nothing. So like I'm watching DVDs, you know. Again, me and my sister built them, you know what I'm saying? Like crazy, right? So I went to school there for about a year, or almost a full year. I almost finished school. That's where I met Kiara. Time is funny because she was trying to get with me. She wanted to be my girlfriend. At this time, I never had a girlfriend or nothing. I I really was in there, but I shooed her away because
What you had going on now?
I was embarrassed. I didn't never bring a girl around my mom. Like I never had, but it's just deep down feeling like I just never had the courage to welcome a girl. I didn't even welcome my best friend. Like I would friends, like I had a select few from my childhood where I would go to their house as much as I physically, like I simply could, and they didn't even know my mom. You know what I'm saying? They moms want to meet my mom. Like, nah, she got side she's off, but I don't think y'all should talk. Like, I'm trying to avoid that at all. So when it came to Kiara, I'm like, I just kind of ghosted her because I didn't even have the courage to even speak on why I don't want you to meet my mom. I just wanted to abandon the whole situation, all in all, to avoid even into it, right? So my mom had lost her job that she had that was in this town, so we ended up moving back to my hometown. We ended up, and she got this humongous house that she could not afford. Like it wasn't furnished or anything, so we had a huge house, 5 bedrooms that we couldn't afford. There was no furniture. I had no beds, no couches. I had my little boxy and my clothes. You know, my school wore uniforms. We had orange and brown. I was one pair of khaki pants every single day throughout the year. Didn't have a washer and dryer. My clothes got washed when they got washed. At this point in time, my car, we was walking. We as a family walking. Like she take me and my sister walking all around the city, bro. And I'm just like, this story is so all over the place that there's not even a starting point. Like it's really crazy, bro. It's really crazy.
It's got moments.
There was a point in time I remember that CPS got involved with us, and they always ask, you know, is everything okay? I'm not sure why this is their approach when they are dealing with the family that they, you know, got called on or whatever, but they that's okay. Is there anything you want to tell us? And my mom used to like coach us, like, y'all better not say nothing. You say something, they gonna split you up. You'll never see me again. Basically manipulating us, like you better not tell on me or something bad gonna happen, which may have been true. But really a situation because that was true and I never wanted that to happen because even though my mom was this person, I still loved her because all I had. I wanted to be split with my sister. I'm brother, but I never wanted to risk that. Those are the things she's telling me, so I'm believing them, so I never wanted to risk that. So I always tell, you know what I'm saying? They can see it in my face. They can see in my house. There's no, bro. We didn't even have a stove, bro. We didn't even have a stove. No cap, dog. We didn't have a fucking, bro. We didn't even have a stove. I would take one of them hot plates and put a pot on.
Right.
and my water, my rice, whatever cooked. But the hot plate was a stove. There was a section in the kitchen where a stove was to go, gas hookups and all. There was no stove, right? Down my house. There's no stove. There's no food in the fridge. It's 5 bedrooms with no furniture. Out the pallet, pack up, and go to the next area. Like, I have my pallet in the dining room when I take a nap.
Dang.
She's forcing me to touch my all that. Mind you, at the time, you know, we didn't have internet. This before I got crafty and started to figure out about, you know, I would hustle at school and ended up getting it on, whatever. But at this time, we just pack up the pallet and go. It really broke me. Like, if I think the all moments of my life, that was the biggest moment in my life that I truly felt defeated. Back to what I was saying about the CP. They would see that there's marks all over us from getting beat.
They do nothing.
And I'm still telling them everything is okay. But deep down inside, I was hoping, all along I was hoping that even though I'm telling you everything's all right, that you do something anyways, because it just felt against my nature to say anything. Because
I'm not gonna lie to you, I can relate to story time so much. Like, I mean, look, like I'm not paying attention, but I'm locked into everything you saying, bro. I really understand. If you end up in a relation, in a family like mother like this, you won't understand. An abusive family in general. They definitely use the CPS against you. They used to tell me the same thing, like, oh, you know, you're gonna go, they're gonna touch you, they're gonna do all
See this
there, and was
more,
that you would never see your siblings again.
more, they're gonna do
The ones that they raised you to
the
protect.
hell out.
And then when you start protecting them against them, now it's an issue. You know, I can definitely understand when if like, you know, people maybe it don't seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal, bro. Nobody should have to grow up with a mother who don't fuck. Like, what's wrong? Maybe one time just wanted to see your dad and she hated dad that much. And instead of being able to be the bigger parent and just wanted to control the situation, and once she learned she had no control, then maybe that's the case. That's the only thing I could think of in my mind as a kid. Like, what else can you think? Even do this shit. If it's not mental health issues, I don't understand. Our men, I'm not saying it's just one way or the other. You know, it just hurts a man more when it's his. You know, we kind of expect fathers because it's like they tell, you know, you gotta war this, war that. Y'all know how it is. You know what I'm saying? But with the mothers, that's the only place you can really cry.
Yeah.
Imagine not having a mother you can cry. Now you grow up knowing how to express yourself, know how to, you know, cry looks weak, you know, and so I respect this, man. I look up to everything. I mean, I understand where he's coming from 100%.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is one CPS cases that just gets swept under the rug.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you gave them the A-OK that, you know what, this is okay, they ignored all those signs and they didn't want to put in more effort. Because, yes, if you get called CPS on you, have to keep doing checks, and people are only in it just for a check. They don't want to really be in it to help save lives and do what CPS is initially supposed to be like. But this mom, I really can't see how they were okay with the kids staying there with no oven, no furniture. Yes, a roof over your head, but no food in the fridge. This is not by any means.
Man, I get it. If you're struggling, there's so many resources out here as well.
Facts. I'm wondering how CPS didn't do nothing at all. Okay, you might have a roof over your head, but you ain't got the basic amenities inside the house to be able to do what the things that you need to do for kids, basically, like a stove, you know, like hot water, clean water, you know, stuff like that. Like they looked in the fridge, they ain't see no food or none of this, and they just let all that ride. Like that's not making, like, what? See, man, it's crazy, gang.
Tell me resources available for y'all when I was a kid getting crazy checks for pretending like I was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of money they had for people who was, you know, needed the income. All you had to do is just reach out, stands fill out an application to get cash assistance, fill out an application like everybody I've seen do throughout growing up in my life. You know, so to sit here and act like you didn't have the maybe today, 100%, I'm with you today. But back then, nah, I don't believe it.
it makes me think what allowed them to give her back hurts. Because, like he said in the beginning, I think 3, 5, or somewhere around that age range that he was in, and now the mom got custody just for this to be the reality.
Yeah, it's like when they feel like they want to be parents again. Oh, I feel like I can do it now. I can do it. I think I can do it. And it gets you back, and it's like, oh, I can't do it. Like, but okay, I guess mental issues is for everybody, even the parents. But it's like, man, as parents, if you got problems right now with your mental health, you got to fix it right now, especially if you got kids. If you've been through trauma stuff in your life, and I'm saying this to him too, you better get it fixed. You better express stuff, you better go get therapy, you better see God, you better do all that because you're going to be just like that person if you don't.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Yep.
Gotta let that shit go. Not let the story go, but let the anger go. Let
you become the abuser,
go. If
like,
not,
you know.
Because of all the things that she's saying will happen if I maybe somehow, some way, something would happen to make the situation better. You know what I'm saying? But that end, then we're gonna fast forward a little bit. From this same huge house, I don't remember where my mom was working at this time because it was such a long time ago. She lost her job, fell behind, whatever case may be. We couldn't afford a house anyways. And we ended up getting evicted, right? Or was going to get evicted. CPS had offered to give her finance to help her, to prevent that from happening or help us find a new place to go or whatever. She would always like shoo them away, like she didn't want them in our business. Even though at this time, like me looking back, we genuinely needed it. Really, really. And I remember telling them that, and I'm a kid, so I did stay in the kid's place. Like I never had that relationship with my mom where I would talk to her about real things. So I would get inside my head. And I was wondering, like, why didn't she tell them that we need help? You know what I'm saying? Why didn't she tell them? Why didn't she just tell them? Because I know, like, I know, talking about her nothing, but I can just, at this point, I've been living in poverty. I was grown a long time before I was supposed to be. I knew that things wasn't right. And she didn't. And time went on, some time went on. And I remember we actually had got evicted from this house. I think this was my 9th grade. We actually from this house, and she had, and whatever little bit of money she had left, she worked out something with somebody to get some rinky-dink van that was all fucked up. And we put a little bit of belongings. It was a couple bags of clothes, whatever. You know, like I said, we didn't have furniture or nothing, so it's like getting evicted. It's like, okay, pack your bag, let's leave, and that's all our there, leave every house, whoop-de-doo. That's the deal it was. So we ended up, I was 18, I believe. Maybe some of these ages, I might go in too fast, but just bear with me. At this age, I believe I was 13 or so, right? Because 9th grade, somewhere, I believe, went to the homeless shelter. And that was so devastating to me because there was a point in time a little earlier in life where we left a couple houses down. Where I lived, it was actually called the Harmony House. And I never knew what the place was when I did live near it, but I knew that there was this friend that I had, and he would get off the bus stop in front of me. And I remember how everyone on the bus would make fun of bro for that. Like they would like be clowning him, and I could tell that it really made him salty and was hurting his feelings and whatnot. I never was one of them ones doing that. Like even if I did know what the place was, that was that place. You know what I'm saying? Why they making fun of it or none of that, but I kind of put 2 and 2 together, and that kind of built the first stigma. I think that's the word I'm looking for. First words, a place like that in my mind, and later on in life, for me to end up going and living in the same place now at 10 years old, I'm old enough to understand and be able. It was like a extreme level of embarrassment that I got because first of all, it's all out of my control. None of it was my fault, you know. So I think the all moments of my life, that was the biggest moment in my life that I truly defeated Like words can't even explain how defeated I felt in that moment, especially like the first day that we got there, right? I'm into a place like that, especially if you're in your 20s or you're younger. Some of my older folks listening to this, you maybe have, experienced something. This one particular from a super low end town. Nothing fancy by any means. It's a hole in the wall town, right? My experience walking in there, you go in through the door, it's a little shack. It's like it could literally be just where you go pay your water bill or something. Probably be much more than that, depending on where you live, right? You walk past the office, they show you your little dorm chat. It's super small. They show you your little dorm room back. You walk back there, you go in the room. There's a bunk bed on this side. There's a bunk bed on this side. And there's a little box TV, right? And I guess apparently, usually one person here, two people. I don't know how it works. And then a chair over here. But since my mom had kids, we had it to ourselves. But it's so small, I can jump from one bed onto the other, right? My mom had with my sister, and I was bunk sleeping up there. And mind you, this place was like inhumane. Like my bed was so close to the ceiling. Like if where I'm laying my head at, and I wake up in the morning, I will head but the ceiling. Like that's how close it is. There's like all types of boogers and all type of nastiness all over the ceiling. Like I'm looking it right in the face, right? Somebody got a type of drug addicts and weirdos in here, like all types of stuff going on, right? And this is things in my mind, because I always been smart, so I understood how things work. But this is I was listening as it happened, right? And then my mom told me that we could go to the little cafeteria area had or whatever, and they was like giving us a tour the whole time. Like I don't care about none of that. Like this is really hurting me so bad that we were even here in the first place. Like I don't even know how to feel about this. I'm holding in with all my at that moment, holding it back so heavily. And then I seen our caseworker from Children's Services come, right? The very person who used to always ask me, is everything okay? Who offered to help, all that. I seen her there, and we all sit at this little table they had. Because I'm trying to hold my tears back so heavily right now, or in that moment, to where I'm not really even tuned in with them. I'm so embarrassed. Like I can't. I'm in order to save the children. I'm just so embarrassed at this time, where I don't even have words. I wasn't even talking to my sister. Like she's crying too. She didn't understand it to the scale that I do. Thing was bad now. So the lady just went to talk to me, and I had no words for her, bro. I just remember I was so defeated and started breaking down crying. Could not stop, because the very place I would ride the bus home and watch my homie get laughed at for going there, and I had no idea what this place was. Now I'm forced to live in these disgusting living conditions, something he never even talked to me about, so I didn't know what to expect. I didn't even know what the place was, and this is all out of my control. So that hurt me so bad. And the even crazier part is, right, throughout my childhood, like since, like even earlier on, probably since like a little bit, when I really started first living with my mom, I had a friend, and I ain't gonna drop his name, but if you my childhood homie, like since a real young kid watching this, bro, you know who I'm talking about, you, bro. He don't even, like I talk to him every now and then. I still told him this to this day, bro. I know him, bro, since I was like 7 years old. I just turned 25. He don't know this to this day, that I was living in a home. This is my mom every day. Can I stay again? Can I stay again? Can I stay again? Because his people, I never told them what was going on, but they knew my mom was crazy. So they would let me stay. I didn't cause no problems. We always had a good, you know what I'm saying? This was one of them friends where
I will forever adore those parents that do have that open house for kids in need, basically. The adults know. They know when their friend's kid is going through some stuff. You could just tell. And it's like, wow, I have a meal here for you. You can call me mom, we family. And I love that, because you don't know how much that means to that child until they're older like old enough to express that. And it's always that kid that's always around that your family sees them as like cousins, and that's why you should just have an open heart and have your door open and always treat people kindly, because you just never know what they're going back home to. And, you know,
Yeah.
I want to be that parent too, that if my kid's friend needs somebody that they can come talk, I can be that for them, because never know, you can change the whole direction of its life.
For real. And that's honestly the reason why a lot of us make it out of those type of situations as young adults and young kids, is because one person. For me, it was a teacher, football coach. For me, it was like trying to leash onto, whoever would, have an ear for me, or whoever cared enough. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, you just gotta be careful doing that shit nowadays. The way times is now with this generation now, these kids now, a lot of these motherfuckers don't appreciate shit. Bunch of ungrateful little motherfuckers, man. Like you can't, man. Back then, yeah, when we was growing up, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was a point in time where every neighbor on the block would whip your ass. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like nowadays you can't even hit your kid like that without you feeling like you about to get in trouble by CPS or some shit, you know? Or DHS or some shit, you know? Like, damn. Damn near against the law to whip your kid nowadays. You feel me? It's like, what? Like, I grew up getting punched, kicked, all types of shit. What? Whatever was closest to my auntie or my mom or whoever, that's what I'm getting hit with at that moment. Like, you feel? Man, I probably got hit with every object in the house. Yeah, man. Probably wasn't healthy, but shit.
so, but that be enough to get situations, believe it or not. So if you do know somebody who's going through something, I know with our own lives, and it's hard. They have a special place in my heart for sure, because when I needed that,
Convince my mom to keep letting me, you know what I'm saying? So at the point when we was living in a homeless shelter, the idea that I was staying, guess what? I would walk from the homeless shelter to his house. I would walk over there and it's spring break, the whole spring break. And they didn't even know that I am homeless. My sister and mom in the town's homeless right now. They didn't have a clue. I would walk over there and stay the night at his house. I think it was like around spring break. I stayed there the whole spring break. And they didn't even know that I am homeless. They didn't have a clue. I would go there, laugh, and hide the pain and act like to hide the fact that that was my melody. They did not know none of that. Knowing that they would have for sure helped me, but I just couldn't even. I didn't even know how to speak up about something like that. So that was a whole era. That was like a big chapter in my childhood life. Right before you transition into becoming a teenager, right? We stayed good like 6 months in a homeless shelter, about 6 months. And she ended up finding out a way. I believe it might have been tax time. That tax time came around and that gave us the boost that we needed to go and get a place. So we ended up getting a place, and we was all for the first 2 weeks or so. And
money ran out.
Bad. That's when she started, really making the crazy remarks. Like every dude we seen on the side of the street with some type of blatantly, like, just blurt out the most. I don't even know the word for it. Like, these statements was crazy. Like,
I can 100% say that that's because that money ran low. When people get their income tax, those first 2 weeks, they're loving it. Life is great,
I just said that you get them taxes, that first couple weeks, you lit. You get $1, 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 you get a pair of shoes, you get a pair of shoes, you get a pair of shoes, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car, yeah. And then you kind of slow down a little bit when you notice that money get a little low. You kind of now you trying to micromanage. That money gone. When that money gone, it snap back to reality. You fucked up again.
This extra money that just came from the gun.
And the fucked up part is everybody that you looked out for with them taxes ain't got nothing for you. You can't call none of them motherfuckers. They ain't looking out for you. They ain't cutting you no check like you did for them.
Came out where we didn't expect. Things are great, spend it on whatever, and as soon as it go dry and they look at that bank account, it's back to madness. It's back to being angry. It's back to it being my children's fault that I'm in this situation. When in actuality, it's just that money was not spent right. I'm happy that they were able to get out of the what do you say the home was?
The foster?
Yeah. There, and his mom was able to find a place. But yeah, with bad money management, it's going to be the same scenario.
Whew. You always tell me, like, be thinking with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, bro, whole girlfriend, I never pursued girls. I've never even hinted at anything. Like, bro, all I do is play the game. You know what I'm saying? Why would you even get to me? So, things like that are very mental to someone that's at the age that I'm telling you I was at. Because mind you, at this time, I was probably 13 going on 14. Things like that to somebody at this age is very abusing mentally, and took a extreme toll on me. Like, I was going into